proposal as well for Melbourne in that game. Also underway, Gold Coast versus Richmond at Carrara. Massive game this for the Suns. You can find a full call of that available on the ABC Listen app as always. Just look for the main ABC AFL button. We'll keep you across that as it transpires. Of course, both teams out here at the SCG warming up in very overcast conditions. The skies look a bit mean. And so too does that centre wicket as well. Looks a bit splotchy and potentially muddy as well. With it's not raining right now, but that will come at some stage. The Savo, you would think. We'll get more on that from Phil Pryor very shortly. What do you want to see from Essendon, Ryan O'Keefe? 9 first-year players aside, what do you want to see from Brad Scott's men today?
Yeah, look, I think just the ability to compete and in these conditions to show that you can win the contested ball. Like we'll talk, historically everyone like Essendon and young players are going to play this fast attacking brand of footy. Yeah, but if you really want to set your club up and your culture and the way it wants to be building forward, you've got to build that off the foundation of solid contest and defence. So hopefully these young players come in and they don't take a backward step and they serve it up and they have a fierce contest at these so-called more experienced Swans players.
Yep, bang on, Peps. I reckon it's the contest. If the Dons can match them, they might consistently not quite match the Swans throughout the game, but if they can match them for large periods, that's a tick for the Bombers, because when you look at it, that's where the Swans should have an advantage going into this game. So the other bit with the conditions, Essendon probably overuse the ball a little bit more than the Swans. They handball a little bit more, that run outside game. Maybe just get it on the boot a little bit, get it forward and play the metres game and create some contests up in their front half.
Swans are up by 6 goals, 35 points late in that second term or at half-time against the Giants late in the second term at the showground last week. Of course, a 79-point turnaround to the bad for them to lose by 44 points in Derby 31 last week. As the players make their way to positions, let's head downstairs to Phil Pryor on the boundary. G'day, Phil.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, we're hanging on by a thread as far as the rain is concerned at this stage. It's 16 degrees, feels like 10. Cunningham, Sheldrick, Campbell and Laddams on the bench for the Swans. Lual, Dersma, Goldstein and Ben Hobbs. Oscar Smart and Caden Cleary are the respective subs. So the two debutants will start on the ground. We'll see if they actually line up against one another in that Swans forward line. But yeah, as it stands right now, guys, plenty of wind down here. No rain yet, fingers crossed.
Great stuff, Phil. Fingers across for you. And also no lightning, which we don't have the annoying delays as well here, like we're at the cricket, whatever it is. But Todd Goldstein not starting, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington.
That surprised me. Yeah, I mean, the experienced player that he is and a terrific ruckman with Grundy in the form he's in, you'd think Goldstein would start, but I guess they're trying something different and, Blackiston gets the run. Why not?
Callum Mills on the toss. The Swans will kick to the Randwick end to start here, the southern end of the SCG. It's a Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and here is Daniel Garb.
Jaden Ewan on debut, lining up alongside Tom Papley. That is an interesting start to life in the AFL world as Brodie Grundy spikes it forward opposed to Blackiston. All the way to centre half forward. Gathered by Durham though. So the Bombers get hands on it. Here's Dylan Shield, former Giant, pokes it up to the wing, and Blackiston, who is the starting ruck with Goldstein on the bench, takes a mark. Hands it off quickly to Merritt. Inside 50 the Bombers go. Hit a right, comes out to meet it. Couldn't mark. Melican is wrapped up and almost caught holding the ball. Eventually the Sherrin spills to the boundary. Mills sees it over with a boundary throw in left forward pocket for Essendon. I saw Tom Papley pointing to teammates saying, I've got the debutant on me. Make sure you hit me up.
Oh, it doesn't matter who's on him. I reckon he's saying that. Hit me up.
It's got a point to prove a bit, Tom Papley, after, I guess, the jibe from the Giants skipper last week at half-time. Of course, didn't have the best second half either, did the Swans live wire. Here's Mills, who's bundled out of play. We'll throw it back in on the junction of 50 at left half forward for Essendon.
Well, we saw the first centre bounce, Blackiston against Grundy. Grundy got the big 40-metre spike forward, but then it was great to see Blackiston spread on Grundy and get the ball on the wing. Well done.
Dean Cox coaching on the bench. Brad Scott up in the box. No score for the opening 70 seconds here in Sydney. Hit a right, the ruck against Grundy. Down here, the Essendon clearance. Guelphy through on the boot, high towards the goal line. It bounces left-hand side of the post for a throw-in.
Well, looks like Blackiston, he's sort of sitting out, not taking the forward 50 stoppages, but then freeing up McGrath. So he's gone to Heaney now, sitting back behind the ball so they can generate that +1.
So the Bombers with a stoppage inside 50, right doing the ruck work opposed to Grundy now. Almost falls the way of McGrath. Kako picks it up. They work it out now. all the way to Archie Roberts, just outside 50. Back inboard. It's gathered by Angus Clark with the shot on goal. That kick is smothered. It's McGrath with another chance. His snap is across the face and through for a behind. But lively early. Essendon, first score on the board. One behind, Sydney yet to score.
Swansea be a little bit disappointed, probably a bit standoffish. A couple of times now they've just let the Bombers have some easy ball. They probably just want to lift that pressure rating.
Quick Swans kick out. Blakey to Mills, and now Grundy beyond offensive 50. Can't quite hang on to it. And Redmond sees it out of bounds for a throw-in.
You talk about it's going to be a contest game and the Swans should beat them, with their contest ball, but they just haven't started that way. We're only 2 minutes in, but something they definitely want to lift on.
At Carrara, the Suns have kicked the first goal against Richmond. 1 straight 6 there. The Tigers yet to score. Back in it comes here at the SCG, right up in front. George on hands and knees. Hand pass picked off here by Sam Durham. Puts it inside 50. Intercept mark was spilled by Rampy. Kako provides some pressure there on Wicks, and now it's picked up by Goulden, the milestone man. Up the tackle of Merritt. Ball comes loose to McInerney, and now Wicks again. Is this time tackled by Archie Perkins over for a throw in at left half forward for Essendon.
Good intensity early from the Bombers. Small crowd in, as was expected considering the awful weather in Sydney this week and the expected forecast today. So the lowest Swans crowd of the season, undoubtedly. As Grundy works it forward, McInerney gathers it just behind the wing, snaps it up to the logo. Here's to Tolley on debut. His first possession. Finds its way to Rowbottom. His kick is picked off by Roberts at half-back, though. Now Merritt with a sweeping handball. Laverty gathers it on the half-volley. Bombers at half-back, moving it nicely by hand. Durham has a man free inside defensive 50 for the switch. That is Redmond. He gathers it on the bounce. Now moves it to the outer side. Out in the lead is Perkins. But the kick was ill-directed. And Tom McCartan back in the side will play game 150 next week. Takes the defensive mark.
First game since round 18 due to the concussion. Grundy on the end of his kick, and now Heaney goes to the middle of the SCG. Inside 50, and Buller low to his left. Hangs on to the grab, 45 from goal.
Well, difference in play there.
He's off the hand pass to Goulden. Let's fly on his left boot from 50 and wobbles it through. The 100 gamer, Errol Goulden, picks the first goal of the game here for the Swans. They're 1 straight 6, Essendon 1 behind. 4.5 plate opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Jason Saddington, Ryan O'Keefe.
Smart play there by Buller. Like I said, he presents well. So, but he knew when you got one of the best kicks in the game, running around on their left foot, just give it to him, and Goulds has absolutely put that straight through. But you can see the intent of both teams. They want to still play that high possession sort of kick mark game in these conditions. So if you turn it over, look, it's going to be very dangerous and very hard to defend behind. So look, it's Swans haven't had much of the ball. They get their one inside 50 for 1 shot on goal, which is pretty efficient. But you can see how Essendon are wanting to play. They're still wanting to move the ball and move it with a bit of speed.
It's probably the difference in that play. Heaney hits the kick going to half forward, whereas the Bombers, they were out, but they just sat the kick up, which allowed McCartan to intercept. So just that ball is really important.
Goulden on the board in his 100th game. Errol plays around the SCG. He said this week he'd love to get up there with Australian crawl one day and sing it himself as Durham wins the clearance for the Bombers. Blakey does the defensive work, spikes it away to the boundary. Rampy gathers it just inside at halfback, sends it up to the wing. Lloyd the target. Jackson Pryor does some nice work opposed to him to win it back. Gets it to Roberts, who ducked around a couple, took a bounce. Nicely played, Archie Roberts. The kick inside 50 is scrappy, and it's seen over the boundary line by Tom McCartan. Yeah, he says his family loves the Errol song, so his grandfather watching him for the first time in the flesh today, probably enjoying that tune. He said his mates get around it, and he buys into the Errol tune at the SCG whenever he kicks a major.
Couldn't imagine him up on stage doing karaoke, especially a song about himself, but back in it comes. Grundy palms it down. Luwalt trying to work his way to the front there for Essendon. Dump down there, Gresham. And the umpire says we'll ball up 40 from Essendon's attacking goal, Paddington End. Swans by 5 points. The rain staying away for now. Up it goes. Grundy puts it down here. McInerney off to Florent. Back in the side. The first game since round 16, and that omission that came after his consecutive games run. Now a free kick going Buller's way. He took one high and will come back here on the outer wing for the Sydney Swans, who lead by 5 points. 1 straight 6, plays 1 behind. 7 going first term. We're on ABC Sport.
Swans move it on the wing. Buller got it to Blakey. Short kick forward to Lloyd. Couple of kicks from goal. The two-time club champion. Dropped this season, but has been reinvigorated. Playing in the forward half of the ground. Chips it short to Papley, who's opposed by the debutant for Essendon, Jaden Ewan. Papley now guides it inside 50. Spotted Rowbottom on a lead. An unlikely bit of movement from the Swans midfield warrior to find himself in that situation. But he got some separation. He'll kick from 45 out on the 45-degree angle. James Rowbottom.
Yeah, good leading pattern there by Rowbottom. Just there is plenty of space out there. Essendon aren't super tight on their defence, so if you can keep active and mobile forward line and keep presenting, there's opportunities like that one popped up.
One of the best tacklers in the competition, not necessarily known for his goal kicking. 5 for the season for James Rowbottom. For the second of the game for Sydney, he's pulled it slightly to the left. So Swans 1-1-7, Bombers the one behind, and we've gone just about 8 minutes in the first term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Here's Brett Sprigg.
Redmond kicks out for the Bombers. Goes short, the final Laverty. You're on defensive 50 members side. McCartan, good separation on right. Intercepts it halfway here for the Swans. Dicey kick though. Cunningham was met late there by Guelphy. Makes a contest of it. Blakey mops up though in defence for the Swans. Malcolm's kick goes back inside defensive 50. A long way back. Rebbe chasing it back towards defensive goal. Rushes it through. Just went end over end. Under no real pressure, Dane Rampy decided his best course of action was to paddle it through for a minor score. So Essendon 2 behind. Sydney a 1-1-7. 8 gone first term.
That's incredible. They've gone from the wing to giving up a behind without Essendon touching the footy.
Now Blakey sends it up to the wing. It's marked nicely back there by Mason Redmond. It's a staple in the Essendon defence. And his kick found Durham on a lead. And he's marked it 55 out.
Strong start from McCartan too, 2 intercept marks.
For Sam Durham. A really strong midfield find for the Bombers. Super consistent. That was a good lead out of attacking 50. He'll just pop this into the pocket. There's a push down there on a Bomber. The free kick will be paid. Well, it was really lazy defending, it must be said, from Tom McCartan. There was no need for a push like that. And the free kick has gone the way of Archie Perkins. He'll have the shot from about 20 out. Tight angle to the right, but just seemed very unnecessary.
Yeah, you bang on with the call there, Garby. It was horrible defence from McCartan. He really didn't need to push. They had the extra in Grundy there, who was coming forward to score the ball. And McCartan, he just caught flat-footed and I think panicked, so just giving the shove on Perkins.
I think it was Melican.
Melican.
Might have been Melican. Either way, poor from the Swans. As Archie Perkins in game 97 strolls in and kicks the first for the Bombers. It was against Tom McCartan, according to the stat sheet here. He's someone who's struggling to really find his best form, Archie Perkins. Bombers fans have been a little bit frustrated by him. He's a first-round draft pick. He gets a soft one here. Pushed in the back by Tom McCartan, but he's taken advantage. Bombers on the board, 1-2-8, Sydney 1-1-7.
That was always going to happen too, Garby, because I just pumped up McCartan before the kick went in. He'd had 2 intercept marks, great start, then he gives away a horrible free kick.
And he kicked the ball back, nearly went through for behind as well. So
around the grounds, Carrara, Gold Coast 2 straight 12. Richmond yet to score. Full call of that available on the ABC. Listen up via the ABC AFL button. Big game coming up later on. Collingwood Brisbane at the MCG. That's huge.
Yeah, wow.
As far as establishing some sort of ascendancy in that pecking order for premiership credentials. Umpire's just having a chat there to
must be reviewing this, are they?
Blakey off half back.
They must be having a look at the shot on goal.
Whether it's raised the post, maybe.
So they're just sort of pottering around here with no real intent to restart play in the middle.
While we're waiting, some news this week, Ryan O'Keefe. Dean Cox far from convincing on whether Dane Rampy will be offered a contract for next season. Obviously a grade of the club. Dean Cox said I think there's an issue with the ground actually down there. There's the reason why the player's been stopped.
And they've gone to get the ground staff. There's obviously a big divot or a big hole somewhere in the SCG, and that might be where the umpire is standing.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
As they're getting further attention. They've gone to get the ground staff here with the sawdust, much like the old footmarks. But on the centre wicket.
This is the part of the ground that has been controversial, it must be said.
Looks okay today, though, but I think there's just that one bit there at centre-half forward inside Essendon's 50, which are getting some sand or some sawdust to sort of fill the divot.
This is a throwback to cricket season.
Yeah.
Crowd enjoying that, the divot being filled, and hopefully we'll get play underway soon. But while we're waiting for that, I thought it was interesting that he was open in not guaranteeing a club great would get a contract. What sort of impact might that have on Dane Rampy and inside the changing rooms?
Look, I suppose I'm not quite sure what the conversations are, but it's happens to everyone, mate. And all clubs.
But for it to be so public, for the coach to come out and basically say he wants to play, but we're not sure just yet.
Oh, I think that's they're being open and honest about the whole thing. You can't sort of try and lie about it, because that'll get out and look even worse, I reckon.
Bombers by a point. Play back underway here. Sheldrick reaching for it. Durham with the clearance though to Goldstein, and now a great tackle from Campbell. So wrap it up down there. It was Angus Clark brought to ground. Hands it back to the umpire. So a ball up to the right of that centre circles. Grundy now to Heaney. Accelerates away here, kick towards half forward, just about the required 15 to Jake Lloyd. Now they're surging forward in red and white jumpers. Lloyd pulls it across to find Warner. Warner marks 55 from goal, couple of steps and the kick, and he misses near side, out of bounds on the full. So it's Essendon 1-2-8, the Swans 1-1-7, 13 gone first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
That's a shock. That's the one thing I'll say about Chad Warner's game, is his kicking disposal is not up to the level of the A-grade midfielders.
Laverty brings it back in. Kick up to the wing, gathered by Durham. Possession number 7 for him. Had an excellent start to this game. Just sends it up to half forward. Contest between Cunningham and Kako. Gresham comes in to help. Sockers it forward, and Wicks takes it over the boundary line. Left half back for the Swans. Essendon 1-2-8. Sydney 1-1-7. Yeah, Durham with an excellent start. 7 disposals, 4 contested, 3 inside 50s early on.
That's super solid. That's what the Bombers needed. You know, someone to get in, get dirty, get to work. It's made a difference from solid start from Essendon.
Shield onto it here, but I think the Rucks had a hold of each other. It's going to go the way of Brodie Grundy. So Swans free kick at left half back for them. That's the hand pass wide to Rampy. Darts back infield down to Florent. Shield wraps him up, spun a full 360. Rampy waiting for it, shotgun. Now back to Wicks. His kick spotted, goes here down to Peter Wright. So it's turned over. Essendon back on the attack from the eastern wing of the SCG. They lead by a point.
Smart play by Peter Wright to hold it up to Essendon, well outnumbered ahead of the ball.
2 metre Peter called to play on, and he's spotted up Liam McMahon inside 50. Another one of the Essendon debutants this season, formerly on Collingwood's list, did very well for them in the VFL. It's his 3rd game of AFL footy, 4 goals to his name. This will be a tough ask. He's going to strike this from the paint of 50 on a very tight angle, right half forward. This will give him some confidence, the 23-year-old. Liam McMahon, bit of a stutter in the run-up. It's a very high ball. And it's through for a behind. So Essendon 1-3-9, Sydney 1-1-7. 15 minutes gone in the first term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sports.
Carrara, Gold Coast have kicked the first 3 goals. They're 3-1-19. Richmond yet to score. No real surprises there, at least so far. Big game for the Gold Coast Suns. Down the corridor here go the Swans. Cunningham to Florent. Question mark around his future at the Swans as well. Florent, given he was out of the side for a fair little while. Rampy brings it across to Sheldrick. No issues as far as his future. He re-signed a new deal during the week. And gets Sheldrick for a couple more years beyond this one. And McInerney off to Wicks. Shows good pace on the outer side. Room to bounce. 65 from goal. Pops it inside 50. And leading up and marking to Tolley. Speaking of the future, he takes the chest mark. 40 out on an angle better than 45 degrees.
Well, their ball use going forward inside 50 has been quite good for the Swans. They've lowered their eyes, and these sort of small forwards have been leading and presenting, which I think is good. You're not gravitating to a one-off player. They don't have, obviously, a big key forward there, so they're looking a lot more dynamic, which is actually working once they get the ball forward.
So, an early look here for Jesse Datoli. Had stress fractures in his back in the pre-season. Delayed start to his career. A set shot from flat on its way, coming back, not quite enough. Through for him on a score. His first score in AFL footy. Essendon 1-3-9. The Swans now 1-2-8. 16 and a half played first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
confident youngster, Jesse Detoli. He's already got a goal celebration planned with Errol Goulden for his first major. You'll have to wait a little bit longer.
Is that a scoop, Garbs? You got yourself a scoop, have you?
Wouldn't say it's that big of a story, but Errol did reveal that during the week, speaking about his 100th game. Here's Rowbottom at half forward. It's a handball out to Melican. He snaps it deep inside 50. Buller got free. There's a whistle on the play. And it's gone to the Bombers for a throw on Archer May by Buller in that contest. And he'll move it on from the left back pocket. Redmond sends it up to the wing. McMahon the target for Essendon, over his head though, well marked by Nick Blakey.
148th game. So the club's having 148 more given his years left in his lengthy contract. Tom McCartan from half-back. Swings it all the way across to Harry Cunningham. The Swans can try to go from that switch position. Sheldrick out on the 45. Goldstein stands the mark. Bombers by a point here at the SCG. Short kick to Lloyd. This is a patient chain now from the Sydney Swans. Florent forward of halfway. Eyes up the sticks from 52. His kick was smothered. Well done down there by Blackiston. Bounces back here for the Bombers off half-back. Worked back by Gresham. Hands back to his skipper, and now Merritt off a step. Luol goes through his hands. Cunningham makes the contest. Mops it up in turn there. Mills overruns the ball. Hobbs dispossessed as well. Luol keeps running. Got a nudge in there from Sheldrick. Picked up here by Jordan. The Swans will start again as Sheldrick finds Laddams at left half back. Bombers by a point. 18 gone first term.
Certainly Swan style of play. They're able to just sort of kick mark, aren't they, Pebs? Kick their way up the field, pretty uncontested, hit up some inside 50 forwards.
Adams up to the wing. Laverde does well to win that contest, and then it's gathered by Jackson Pryor to Blackiston. Now Durham, another possession to him. Deep inside 50, the Bombers go. Bouncing ball, Mason up for Guelphy to soccer it through. Ran that down hard, Matt Guelphy, and got the reward. And Essendon have started really nicely at the SCG. 2-3-15. Sydney 1-2-8.
Yeah, I think both teams aren't super tight on defence at the moment, so the ball's been able to move definitely, from half-back attacking drives for both teams has been, pretty high and untouched balls. So, but that just goes to show with greasy conditions, you get it over space, you turn it around, it's hard to defend, and you can just get out the back and just surge one forward, and it's a lovely finish.
Now, is there a touch on that ball from Melican as he dives across?
It's a goal.
Sort of comes off the ankle of Matt Guelphy, but
I think he's touched it back onto Guelphy's boot. So this should be a goal.
it was by 7 points. Just by the way, at Carrara, a second goal for Ben King makes it 4 for the Gold Coast, 4-1-25. Richmond yet to score. And that one goes the way I think we expected it to. But nonetheless, an important one for the Gold Coast Suns. Out of the middle here, Heaney for the Swans. Half pass back to Mills, and now Rampy bursting off half back on his preferred left side. That was the marking target of Campbell, the members' wing. Little left footer Campbell pops it inside 50. Out of a 2-on-2. Patley was being held down there by Newen. Umpire lets it go. Jordan runs into some contact here. Brought down heavily in the Merritt tackle. And again, the umpire will ball up at half forward for the Swans. Bombers by 7 points here. We've just hit time on the opening term. Saturday for ABC Sport.
Laddams wrestled out of the contest by Blackiston illegally, according to the umpire. So free kick to Laddams. 55 out. Gets on his left. Guides it to the top of the square. Buller the target. Takes the mark, diving to his left. Did really well to get the arms free, Jack Buller. Judged that very nicely. And he'll have a shot after taking the grab from the right forward pocket.
It's really good. You've got body contact, got separation. Give himself enough time then to get the arms on.
Buller plays on and kicks the major. In fact, he gave it to Braden Campbell. Just as I look down, he dished off the handball. Campbell ran around and converted for the Swans. So they are 2-2-14, Essendon 2-3-15. Well done, Jack Buller. He's given a couple of assists already, one to Goulden and now one to Braden Campbell.
He stitched you up there, didn't he, Gubby?
Well, I was looking down to see how many goals he's kicked on my notes.
He's going for the goal assist tonight. That's his record.
And as I look down, he dished it off. They're both blonde, so it was hard to distinguish between the two as I look back up.
He's getting better week by week too, Buller. It's a good target forward. There's still balancing around that forward line. McLean's obviously out this week, and Marty's been injured a lot, but Buller's been able to step in, and week by week he's just looking stronger. He's a good contested mark player.
He moves well. And competes. So, yeah, mature player from out of Claremont.
Voice of Brian O'Keefe alongside Jason Saddington here on ABC Sport. The clearance, Warner slips over on that very boggy middle turf here at the SCG. Lloyd back to Campbell. The goal kicker, and now Cunningham retreats to find his skipper Mills. 9th game this year, played just the 6 games last year. The Swans captain. Grundy up in front, got a spoil from behind. Falls to McInerney, and now Grundy again. Off to Sheldrick, hurried kick towards Roybottom again. Controls a one-handed grab. 25 metres out from goal in the right forward pocket.
That was basic defending. Just need to put a fist in the spoil. That was an easy chase mark that shouldn't have happened.
Just the marks inside 50 at the moment. 4-1 Swans. Every time they're going in, they're able to either hit up a target or, in the last couple of cases, a contested mark.
So James Roybottom, speaking of captains, he did captain the side in Callum Mills' absence. On the set shot here, 25 out, misses to the right-hand side. Scores a level here at the SCG, 2-3-15 apiece. 23 gone first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington, Phil Pryor on the boundary. Pick us up, Garby.
A couple of misses that James Roybottom would love to have again, as Jackson Pryor's kick is picked off by Nick Blakey. Free kick though to Grundy, so it'll go back in. Attacking 50 for the Swans. Grundy gives it back to Blakey. This ball was touched. Blackiston's gathered it. Well tackled by Roybottom. Now got it to Roberts. On his left kick for the left foot for the Bombers. Kicks it up to the wing. Tom McCartan got a hand on it. Mills there supporting him. Got it to Blakey. They move it swiftly from the wing back in the middle of the ground. Sweeping handball from Goulden to McInerney. And now Chad Warner pokes one to centre half forward. Well done, Newen on debut. Won that contest against Papley and then found a teammate in Dersma. Well done, youngster. Dersma's kick is marked by Blakey, but that'll give him some confidence winning a contest against Tom Papley.
He's got some serious speed and hops, that young fella. Like, he does. He's really diligent about putting bodywork into Paps.
Mills in a hurry. The hand pass off to Sheldrick. Back down the line, and McInerney is in best position. Controls it, 35 out directly in front.
Once again, the Bombers defenders just struggling when the Swans are bringing the ball forward. Another mark inside 50 from the Swans. It's now 5 marks this quarter that they've taken inside that front 50.
Well, they just don't want to put any bodywork in. Like, they're just letting... It's bruise-free defence at the moment in terms of not want to shove bodies, get physical, get the fist in there. Just these uncontested marks. You should not be taking uncontested marks in your forward 50.
Justin McInerney, recent 100 gamer himself. Crosses the 50, comes in. This is pretty straight. And the Swans have their third major. 3-3-21. They lead the gaming out after a slow start. Essendon 2-3-15, 25 gone first term. Saturday for ABC Sport. Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Look, I mentioned off the top, 16 degrees, feels like 10 down here. It is worth just reiterating. The wind is playing a fair factor out there. It's greasy, so whenever the ball is bouncing off the ground, that is impacting the way that play has unfolded in this opening term. But it is also worth pointing out that there is skill execution as if that footy is still pretty dry. So conditions aren't too bad as of yet, and the rain has held off for most of this first term at least.
We won't see anything like we saw last night in Adelaide. The 23 goals kicked to one end. Adelaide Oval, the Cathedral end. That was unbelievable. 23 goals to 5 at one end. There was no breeze or anything. Happens that way sometimes.
Swans up by a goal. McInerney putting them in front. Merritt wins the clearance though for Essendon. Pokes it inside 50. Perkins got a really nice sit and took a mark at centre half forward. Archie Perkins with a massive highlight in the first quarter here at the SCG. And he'll kick for his second from just outside 50, pretty much directly in front.
You asked more of him, Garbs. Now he's delivering. That was a very good catch.
He just timed his jump superbly and then got the sit on his own teammate in Jade Gresham. He isn't the tallest, as we know. Archie Perkins making his presence felt in this first term. Looking for his second goal of the game. This is sliding out to the right-hand side, and Tom McCartan ensures it goes over for a behind. So Essendon 2-4-16, the Swans 3-3-21. We've gone 26 minutes in the first term.
Quick kick out here for the Sydney Swans, and Gordon along that members wing to find Sheldrick. Called to play on now. Got options running here. He's going to get around Luol. Does so now. Off that left peg, high towards half forward, 2-on-1. The defenders outnumbered the Swans there, and Redmond takes the mark for Essendon. Swings it back here. It is marked by Gresham at half back. Lays off the hand pass to Wendy McGrath. And he wobbles his ball down towards that member's wing. There's a race toward the benches. It's trapped there now by Xavier Dersma. Swings it back infield. Durham brought to ground by Roy Bottom, and the umpire says give it to me for a ball up. Some breaking news out of last night's game, by the way. Jack Inman is fined for his obscene gesture to the Adelaide fans in the race. $1,000 of the early play. I think he knew straight away he was getting that fine.
Swans up by 5 points. Always the villain. Here's Ginnivan as Warner kicks the Swans inside 50. Off hands. Gathered by Roberts in defensive 50 for the Bombers. Got it to Perkins and now to Blackiston on his left. Sends it up to the wing. There is McCartan and Melican. And the Swans' key defensive duo ensure the ball goes over the boundary line. Next to the benches, it's the Swans by 5 points late in the first term here at the SCG.
It's an area they are struggling with through this first quarter, the Bombers, that connection through half forward. You know, Blakey keeps mopping up. McCartan's had a couple of intercept marks. Just need to be able to find a target across half forward to be able to get themselves inside 50.
Hasn't been the most inspiring first term for school levels, both sides, really, as far as forward entries. Marginally better for the Sydney Swans. Here's Kako, fends away Melican. Hand pass out in space here to Xavier Dersma. Now the kick from the boundary is out of bounds on the full.
But the reason for that, Sado, is because Essendon are generating a +1, so that they're getting that because Peter Wright's coming up playing as that ruck. Blackus is dropping back, so they're losing that connection because they don't have that target ahead of the ball.
Good mark by Heaney, just behind the wing. Possession number 11 from Blakey, sent it that way. He goes short, barely the 15 to Warner. And he's paid the mark though, wrestled to the ground by Durham in the process. Swans by 5 points late in the first term. Warner goes corridor and finds McInerney, who's been busy. Terrible kick by him. Spilled off Perkins though, that allowed Rowbottom to slap it inside 50, and then the second effort from Rowbottom is excellent to bring Perkins to ground. We'll have a ball up, centre half back for the Bombers.
The one pleasing aspect from the Bombers is that contested possession we spoke about before the game. It's pretty even at the moment, 26 all. It's a good start.
From the stoppage, McGrath for the Bombers. High kick, back to the middle of the ground. Blackiston makes the contest. McMahon makes the contest down the middle. It's got the better of McInerney, is now up to his feet. Hand pass off to Jordan, to Blakey. Fires it back to James. Robert moving 5 from 45. And this time he makes no mistake. On the run. After 2 misses earlier, Robert takes full advantage of that. He had a big look at the sticks, and he does in fact have a 4th goal for the Swans. 4-3-27. They're out by 11 points, the home side. Essendon 2-4-16. Approaching the half-hour mark here. Carrara at quarter time. Gold Coast 4-1-25. Richmond just the one behind. Earlier at Docklands, the Demons beat the Eagles by 83 points.
With both teams, like the Essendon giving Sydney that generation of extra defenders behind the ball. So the game's getting played between the 250 arcs at the moment. And then but what's happening is both teams aren't really being solid in defence. Both teams are able to kick through it, but Sydney are just a little bit more efficient in finding free targets as they go inside 50. And a good finish from Rowbottom, which is playing a little bit more forward. Now, if you're one of these small forwards, you have to make the most of your opportunities and kick goals.
Swans by 11 points. They work it inside 50 again, do Sydney. Punched away. The Bombers defence from that area. Merritt gathers it. Got it back to Redmond. Glides it up to the wing. Goulden takes the mark though. Opposed to Lual. The Rowbottom starting forward. Zincock says he wants his players to be more flexible as Goulden goes inside 50 over the head of Rowbottom. And Durham is well tackled, brought to ground by James Jordan. We'll have a ball up in attack for the Swans. So maybe that's a sign. I want to see a different avenue to your game, perhaps. James Rowbottom.
But they've got to kick the goals though. He's had 2 set shots and not really look like kicking them. So I think that's the thing. If you want to have these players that can be flexible, they've got to be able to kick the goals.
Again, McGrath from the clearance puts it down the throat of McCartan. Gives away the free kick on Peter Wright. It works out okay here for the Bombers. In front of O'Reilly's stand. I think Peter Wright sends it down the line. And Melican intercepts this time. Left half back here for the Swans. 11 points their lead. Short kick back to McInerney. Now Rampy, shorter still. Not 15, play on, says the umpire. Back to Cunningham. A switch back to the members slide here for the Swans, but Cunningham just takes some of the pace out of the game. And the Swans keep that 11-point lead, and they chip it back towards Dane Rampy.
Swans with the 2-goal buffer, happy to chip it around. That's an excellent kick by Rampy, looking for Natoli. Well done with the Bombers defender, though, to just put the debutant off. Here's Redmond, can't get a hand on it. Good body work by Campbell on him. And then Natoli gets the handball away. Won the contest. Papley looking for a teammate. Found Florent. Burst through the pack. Banana effort towards the top of the square. Heaney's there along with Grundy. Well done by McGrath, who 2-on-1 against Danny McGrath, won that contest and avoided the Swans kicking another goal to end this quarter. Sydney do take the lead, though, into the first break. They are 4-3-27. Essendon 2-4-16.
So goals to Goulden, McInerney, Campbell and Rowbottom for the Sydney Swans. Meanwhile, for Essendon, their two majors kicked by Archie Perkins and to Matt Guelphy. A couple of lead changes in that first term. The Swans do control things at the first change. 4-3-27 plays 2-4-16 on ABC Radio, News Radio and the ABC Listen app. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
The summer of cricket has arrived early.
Clubs it straight down the ground for 6. He's on the pull shot. Boy, did he get that.
White ball cricket takes centre stage in the top end as Australia take on South Africa.
Shout for leg before, finger goes up.
It all starts on Sunday, August 10.
Down the pitch, there we go. Bang.
Every ball live on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the cricket button. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Heaney goes to the middle of the SCG, inside 50 and Buller, low to his left. Hangs onto the grab, 45 from goal. Hand pass to Goulden, let's fly his left boot from 50 and wobbles it through! The 100-gamer, Errol Goulden, picks the first goal of the game here for the Swans.
He'll just pop this into the pocket. So push down there on a bomber. The free kick that we paid has gone the way of Archie Perkins. The game 97 strolls in and kicks the first for the Bombers. Now Durham, another possession to him. Deep inside 50, the Bombers go. Bouncing ball, mace it up for Guelphy to soccer it through.
Mills in a hurry, the hand pass off to Sheldrick, back down the line, and McInerney, who's in best position, controls at 35 out directly in front. Comes in, this is pretty straight, and the Swans have their third major. Jordan to Blakey, fires it back to James, Robert moving 5 from 45, and this time he makes no mistake. On the run, after two misses earlier, Robert takes full advantage of that.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Swans by 11 here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. This is the Pride game in the Saturday twilight slate here in round 21. This game happening concurrently with the game at Carrara, where Gold Coast 5-1-31 leads Richmond 1 behind. Earlier at Docklands, the Melbourne beat West Coast by 83 points. It means, among other things, Garby, that does condemn West Coast officially to the wooden spoon. There is no mathematical path away from last spot for West Coast. I think we all knew that was coming. That's been confirmed with that loss a short time ago. Massive game coming up, Collingwood v the Brisbane Lions at the MCG. You're with Brett Sprague, Daniel Garb, Phil Pryor's on the boundary, and our experts, an All-Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Swan and Blue Jason Saddington.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lacklustre quarter, really. Both teams, we were sort of hoping that the teams would step up and go, let's put a bit of contested brand on this game and really show something, but no one really did. Like the defence was, as I said, both Essendon are trying to generate a +1. That's the defence they want to play by getting an extra number behind the ball. But what that does, it allows the Swans to get what they want with their back half setting up nicely behind the ball, and the game's sort of getting played between the arcs. But the Swans just seem a lot more efficient about to find that free player and lowering their eyes to their small mobile forward line. Look, if I'm coaching Essendon and I've got a young team and I want to sort of build something towards the future, you've got to build it on the back of contest and defence. Like, if you're going to play concede, we just want to try and generate a +1 and then no one really picks anything up, I just think you're just not teaching a brand of footy that's actually going to play finals going down the track. So, look, I think watching it, it's a little bit disappointing at the moment, particularly what Essendon's serving up. I think the Swans are doing what they're need to do so far without really setting the world on fire. But I was hoping for a bit more of a fierce, contested battle.
Oh, it was probably the same, Peps. I thought it might be a bit more of a contest game, which the Swans should dominate. But in terms of, around the footy, it's pretty even, 33-31. Swans just in front. But that's not how the game's been played, has it? It's been a bit more open outside. Between the arcs, you mentioned it through that first quarter. And the Swans are just a little bit more efficient going inside 50. They haven't been great at all times, but they've been able to get some of those marks inside 50, which, as you say, Essendon playing a +1 behind the footy. They shouldn't get marks inside 50, the Swans. So they're a little bit all over the place in that part of the ground, the Bombers. But, in terms of the outside, they've had their opportunities going forward as well. They're struggling across half forward, Essendon. Once they try and get off half back, they're really struggling to find a target. They're kicking the ball back to the Swans. McCartan's had a couple of intercepts. Blakey's had a field day out there with 12 touches through that first quarter. So it's definitely played a bit more in the Swans' hand. If Essendon can just tidy up that defensive bit and just be a bit tighter and not let those inside 50 marks, and just tidy up, I think, when they go to half forward, either finding a target or at least creating a contest and a stoppage, then they might give themselves a chance to get the game a bit more inside that 50.
Yeah.
In terms of a few players, Blakey's had plenty of the footy. Durham's been good for the Bombers in and around the footy. He's had 9 touches, plenty in contested. Touch on the debutants as well. Newen showed some hops. He's been pretty good on Papley for Essendon. And Totoli's had plenty of touches for the Swans in that front half. So we'll see where the game goes this quarter if there's any adjustments.
The Perkins grab was a highlight as well in that first term for the Bombers. Yep. But the Swans lead by 11 points here at quarter time. Second quarter underway. Goldstein palms it down straight to Heaney though for the Swans, and now Warner can clear. High bobbly ball towards half forward. Sweet Caroline still playing by the way as Grundy slips over at half forward. Bursting after the footy is Shield, brought down by Roy Waterman. Again, the umpire will ball up at left half forward for the Sydney Swans.
I was going to say that, Spriggy. It was just, they should have waited to not ball the ball up until we got to the Sweet Caroline.
And then bounce the ball.
Let that going.
Heaney and Durham both missed it on this clearance. Newen run down from behind by Papley. The footy's dropped and it goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Okay. Phil Pryor, down to you.
Yeah, I did want to add just before quarter time, the 2 representatives holding up the signs for each of these teams down here. They can barely hold them up. It's just so blowy down here.
Swans up by 11 points. It's been an ugly week weather-wise in Sydney. Thankfully, the rain has stayed away from the SCG, but it is still cold as Grundy wins the ruck clearance easily. Got it to Heaney, who guided it superbly outside of his right boot to Angus Sheldrick. On a 45-degree angle just outside 50. New 3-year contract signed this week by Sheldrick. And he finds Heaney on the lead. Papley was a target, and he just dropped his hands at the last moment. Got it to Heaney, who kicks it further forward and finds Braden Campbell. I'm not sure that's a better option. Campbell's the left footer, Heaney the right footer. Only went forward 15 metres in the exact same angle, but Campbell will shoot for his second.
That's two marks inside 50 again, and Essendon to give up. They've really got to do something about this. Otherwise, if the Swans get going, this will be an avalanche.
Braden Campbell with the banana on the left, misses near side. I'm not sure Heaney should have passed that off. With his skills, would have been a snap on the right foot from the left forward pocket, and he probably would have nailed it. Anyway,
great call.
Sydney are 4-4-28, Essendon 2-4-16.
You're right too, Peps. Those marks inside 50 again. Heaney shouldn't be able to take uncontested marks like that.
Redmond short kick out to find McGrath. 22 disposals last week in the midfield. Eddie McGrath and playing more midfield time with the Bombers. And it comes, speaking of midfielders, Merritt drops the footy here into the path of Rampy, who soccers toward the boundary line. It's going to be deliberate. So Rampy is pinged Essendon footy between the benches as the skipper brings it back in now. Merritt's long kick inside 50, but Grundy floats across to intercepts at left half back.
It's the part of the ground. They just need to bring the ball to ground, the Bombers. They just need to find a way to bring the ball to ground at half forward and create a stoppage so at least they can set up and try and get inside 50.
Swans by 12 points, early stages of the second term. It's with Melican in defensive 50 into the corridor. Well read by Durham. Tracked that kick, which was intended for Warner. Took the mark one-handed. Now puts Essendon into attack. McMahon the target off his hands. Gresham trying to do the roving. Gathered again by McMahon. Got it to right. And now Archie Roberts on the left. Misses near side. Should have done better. Had a lot of time. And it wasn't too far out. Swans lead by 11.
Mills waste no time. A kick out, a bounce, then a kick to find James Jordan. He's off the hand pass. The 100-gamer in Errol Goulden draws the man, fires it back by hand to Campbell. Inboard now to Lloyd. On here to Buller. Fires it back to Goulden, who's still running. Add in some space there. Sheldrick back to the wide expanses there for Goulden. Now Blakey keeps it alive just and finds the Patley lead. With a knee in the back as well from Jaden Ewan, but Patley will take his set shot from 40 out on the 45-degree angle.
I'm liking Ewan. He's not backing down at all. He's getting right in there, which is good. You can just see the running power of Errol Goulden, and he's taking it from the back pocket, and it just shows work rate. More times you go to the well, more times you're going to have a drink, and he just cleaned up and just linked up all the way along the wing.
Tom Patley, who of course was the subject of an interesting halftime interview from the Giant skipper Toby Green last week, had a very quiet second half as well, did Tom Patley. The set shot here is tugged to the left-hand side, out of bounds on the full.
He obviously wasn't fit enough, was he?
Am I right? Did he not send a late night message to Toby Green with some burger chain?
He did on Instagram. With him eating a fast food burger.
Quite funny.
11 points the Swans lead here, by the way.
298 goals for Tom Papley for his career, so eyeing off the 300 today. That was an opportunity missed as Merritt knocks it forward on the wing for Essendon. Peter Wright's handball was intended for Guelphy, went over his head. So a throw in right in between the benches. Swans leading by 11 points, 4-4-28, Essendon 2-5-17. A cloudy, gloomy day here in Sydney at the SCG, and the wind's got a hold of that boundary throw in. Brodie Grundy read it well, got to the front of the contest and collected the footy. Got it to Warner. His kick towards attacking 50. There's a whistle there. It goes the way of the Bombers. Free kick to Redmond. He got it to Shield. He plays on from centre half back.
Long kick towards half forward. Come off hands there of McMahon. At the drop. Little 1-2 give there with Archie Perkins. Pressure here on the Bombers though. Clark was run down. Shield on a loose footy. Pops it inside 50. But only back there is McCartan. And the Swans will start again from full back. He flares it wide to Jordan. It's not been a high standard game so far, this one here at the SCG. I'm not sure it's much better at Carrara, where it's 5 goals to none. Gold Coast lead by 30 over Richmond midway through the second term there. Meanwhile, Callum Mills has it for the Swans. Pops it here to Goulden. Is outnumbered, but he does well with the overhead grab.
Excellent mark by Errol. 3 against him. On his backside, got the handball to Mills. They move it out wide to Florent. Now to half forward for Lloyd. Takes the mark, plays on. Just inside 50. His kick is intended for Buller. Wrestling with him is Archer May. No whistle on the play. It's through for a behind. Swans lead by 12. 4-5-29. Essendon 2-5-17.
That just typifies the defensive pressure that Essendon putting on this game. Errol could take a mark within 4 guys, and then they just get uncontested marks all the way through there.
Well, Jack Buller does his stuff out there for the Swans. I think some of the Swans fans might be at Buller. It's probably a few footy fans, a few missing here today as the kick goes beyond the offensive 50, but Blakey marks just forward of the wing here for the Swans. 12 points the home side's lead. The Lizard on his preferred left side just gives it some distance inside 50. Grundy can't control it. Off hands over for a throw-in the left forward pocket at the Paddington end of the SCG.
Nick Blakey up to 14 disposals. Grundy 12. Merritt and Durham have 10 each for Essendon. Swans leading by 12. 7 minutes gone in the second term. Boundary throw in attack for Sydney. Laddam's doing the right work now. Palms it straight down to Sheldrick. Does a 360 spin. And on his left, sends it towards goal. Grundy has front position. He caught one high. Is the whistle there?
Yep.
Yes, it is. It'll go the way of Grundy. It came a little bit late, but it had to be a free kick. He'll smacked around the head, Brodie Grundy, and he'll take his shot from about 20 out on a 45-degree angle to the left.
He's just able to get front spot, Grundy. And once he got front spot with that big frame, it's hard to spoil the ball. So he protected the drop zone really well, so he was able to come forward at it. So if he's going to get a spoil in, it's always going to get him high.
What a season he's having. It'd be a big chance for the Bob Skilton medal. Brodie Grundy doesn't cap that opportunity off with the goal. Misses near side, but I think Isaac Heaney was leading by a long way early. Brodie Grundy not only firming for an All-Australian blazer, but might be a big chance to take out the Swans Club Champion Award.
He's been back to his best, hasn't he?
3 behinds to 1 in this second term so far for those playing at home. Redmond looks for an option, goes right, then left, then back to the right here. On this members' side of the SCG, Durham floats up ahead of Goulden and takes the grab. 27 touches against the Bulldogs last week, Sam Durham. They lost by 15 goals. His kick turned over almost there as there was some pressure coming from Goulden. Bombers go down the line. Goulden can't trap it. Falls there. Perkins, hand pass off, and now a kick. Back with the flight, Laddams. Her right coming the other way. Picked up by Blakey. And now Kako tackled ball and all. The umpire says, give it to me on the point of the square at right half forward for Essendon. 4-6-30 is the Sydney Swans score here. Essendon 2-5-17. 9 go on second term at a blustery SCG, but no rain as yet.
Peter Wright taps it down to Dersma, who caught one high from the 100-gamer in Errol Goulden. Xavier Dersma, former Port Adelaide player, plays on quickly, sends them into attack. Cunningham doing some wrestling, bounces away from Kako. Guelphy couldn't gather it. Wicks falls on top of it, as does Hobbs. And we'll have a ball up. No, it's holding the football. And it's against Ben Hobbs. So the former first-round draft pick didn't do enough to get rid of it, according to the umpire. Chad Warner will take the free kick in defensive 50 for Sydney.
This is 8th disposal so far, Chad Warner. Comes it on by foot to Rampy, and now 50 as McMahon overstepped the mark.
And that's one that Greg Swan might change at the end of the season. People are getting very frustrated by the constant 50s for not only going over the mark, but encroachment as well, which seems to not really impact the game too much.
Yeah. As long as they don't point at the scoreboard as well, if you're the aggrieved player. Rampy goes down the line here. Oh, Heaney in the wrestle down there with Radman. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the Essendon defender. So 4-6-30 plays 2-5-17. Swans by a game high 13 points. This kick comes wide. It is marked in the chest of Jackson Pryor at right half back of the Bombers.
Swans by 13 points as Pryor goes short to former number 1 draft pick in Andy McGrath, right half back. He sends it up to the wing. Melican underneath it. That's a nice grab by McMahon. Taking a couple of good marks.
Yeah, he's a fine.
Start this game. Timed that jump superbly. Bombers go inside 50 now in the front position. The mark is taken by Durham.
Gee, that ball's really holding up on the high balls, isn't it?
But Durham's the sort of standout player for the Bombers at the moment, isn't he? He's getting everywhere. And he's just clean, isn't he? He's good size, so he's definitely one player they can sort of build off.
It's his 13th disposal coming up. 5 inside 50s, 3 score involvements.
Big kick here.
Against the wind, this will take
tough, yep.
Everything he's got, Sam Durham. Swans up by 13 points. He struck it nicely. It's out to the right, though, through for behind. So 2-goal lead to Sydney, down to Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, there are some pretty threatening clouds looming, and the weather app that I have on my phone just sent through a notification, which makes me very nervous.
Okay, well, we thought it might come at 4 o'clock, which is an hour ago. So we've had nearly the first full half.
It's all good. It's all good up here.
Best stage, right? Don't worry, Phil. McCartan goes beyond defensive 50. Heaney marks on the outer side. They're surging forward here, the Swans, as Detoli marks, despite the oncoming pressure from Laverty. Holds it up here to Jesse Detoli in his first AFL game. Now called to play on. Needs a neat entry as the rain starts to fall. And the ball falls there away from Buller. The Bombers will rebound. This time Archer May kicks down the throat of Harry Cunningham. You see the fans reaching for the ponchos and heading to the undercover area.
Oh no!
Or is off out of hands for a throw in.
Bucketing.
It is really coming in, Phil Pryor. What do you got for us down there?
Run, Phil. Run.
Pray for me, guys. Pray, please.
This does look big sheets of rain, which affects the visibility, if nothing else, from us up with the commentary box. But certainly, Swans by 12 points.
For us.
The 12-point lead might be enough from here on in, such as the power of this rain. It'll be tough to score. And the free kick going the way of Dersma and Essendon inside defensive 50.
I can't believe you've given the Phil. It's a bit tough to see up here, Spriggy.
Rain is lashing the SCG right now. This is a torrential downpour.
Might be brief. You never know.
As the Bombers move it around their own defensive 50. Mark taken by Clark.
Well,
Short to Pryor. It has just lightened up a little bit now, thank goodness. But a lot of supporters have taken the chance to go away from the front of the stands towards the boundary, all the way back under cover. So it's pretty empty, close to the field of play. As the Bombers switch it to May, and out of the outer side for Redmond. Tucks the ball under his arm, gets moving. Short one forward to Lual. And he finds that we look for Hobbs. The ball just skids away from him. Boundary throw in left half forward for Essendon. Swans lead by 12 points. 30 minutes gone in the second term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
With conditions like this, I'm surprised they're still trying to play dry weather football and trying to chip it around and not go a little bit more direct and attack the top of the square and get some territory.
Voice of Ryan O'Keefe on ABC Sport. Lowell tries to receive it there as Florence spoils it away. Warner hacks it forward now for the Swans. Out to Verdi. Swings it back towards half forward. Dersma gives chase along with Blakey. It's out of bounds. I reckon it's off someone's boot. Out of bounds on the full, and it will be going the Swans' way with Nick Blakey at left half back. Poor Phil. Could have been in like a corporate box at the British and Irish Lions tonight or something comfortable. He's chosen to spend his day here at the SCG, and he's got a whole block to himself, I reckon. Swans by 12 points, 14 go on second turn.
The worst of it has come and gone. Might have almost stopped raining now. I'm surprised if it hits the SCG again as Blakey sends it up to the wing. Nice mark taken by Buller. Guides it towards half forward. Heaney with the grab. 55 out. Has a man all alone inside 50. That is Ollie Florent. Heaney finds him, and Florent will kick from 45 on just a slight angle to the right.
That's why he's an A-grade midfielder or player, Isaac Heaney, because he uses the ball so well. He's great. He's got a great set of hands, so clean, but his foot skills. He makes great decisions and generally hits the target all the time.
Just the 12 games this season for Ollie Florent. He has been discarded by Dean Cox, spent a lot of time in the VFL. His future is certainly up in the air at Sydney. This will make him feel a whole lot better if he can slot this from 50. Ollie Florent's kick is across the face and it's kept in smartly by the Swans. Down there by Campbell. And the Bombers have won it back. They can rebound.
Numbers in defence here. Perhaps received by Jackson Pryor. There's further afield. Trying to find their way again. So Pryor darts back. Oh, this Black is still under some pressure. On the follow-up though, does well. Neat little kick. And he's marked by Ben Hobbs. The Bombers, they're surging forward. Hobbs gives off the hand pass. Durham's kick skids inside 50. About to beat the football down there is Wicks. He was dispossessed, so too Cunningham by Durham. He was taken with that. Oh, it's going to be holding the ball. Yep. So it's going to come back here to Sam Durham.
They're lucky to get away with that, Essendon. Like I said, they're playing this high possession, dry weather footy, and it's just got to get it to kick it long, get over the space. They actually had a player over the top. They kicked the space, so they're just being too cute in these conditions. And we're dying for him to just get a bit of grunt and some contested and surge and play the conditions and show a bit of fight that way.
We had a brief heavy shower here at the SCG. The rain looks to have alleviated for now. Sam Durham with a set shot from 45 out, directly in front as far as the angle goes. This is tugged to the right-hand side. Out of bounds on the full. How many times has that happened today? Out of bounds on the full from the set shot from both sides. No change to our score. Swans by 12. 4-6 plays 2-6.
It's a shank from Durham, but he's been the Bombers' best by a long way. 15 disposals, maybe the best on the ground. 6 inside 50s, 4 score involvements. As the Swans chip it around defensive 50, the 35-year-old Rampy takes the mark. He's got a man in a lot of space. That is Buller out in a long lead, playing really nicely. Jack Buller got it to Grundy. Campbell did well to stand up in the contest and then soccer it a long way forward. Detoli put some bodywork on McGrath. That spilled the football free. Clark has to be quick. Is so. Look for Luau. Florent managed to impact the contest with him. Eventually Shield picks it up. Works it up to the wing. Perkins knocks it in front of himself. Mills and Goulden, though, combined to win it back for Sydney. Back to Wicks, and now Cunningham. Clever kick. And he finds Errol Goulden his 100th on the wing.
He swings his kick wide to half forward, marked by Blakey, 52 out. He eyes the big sticks from this part of the ground, and it's on its way and missing with the left-hand side. 4-7, 31 Sydney. Essendon 2-6, 18. 17 and a half played in the second term. Saturday footy at ABC Sport.
Swans are playing the conditions a lot better. They're going forward. They're taking territory. That forward entry was just good. Soccer, surge, get it in there. Now they're playing the game in their front half.
Jackson Pryor to the left back pocket. Boulevardi. Well done by Harry Cunningham. Punched it away from Hobbs. So the Swans win it back. Sheldrick to Lloyd. Now Errol Goulden. 55 out. guides it for the lead of Campbell, bounces once in front of him. Campbell back to McInerney, spots up a target in Sheldrick, missed the target though. Newen, the debutant, sliding across, got hands on the football and did well to trap that in slippery conditions. And now we'll have a ball up just at the top of the Swans attacking goal square.
The Rucks gather. Grundy and Blackiston. Lilwell goes up. Shield tries to trap it. McGrath does so for the Bombers. Hand pass picked up by Campbell with the Swans. Too hot it was in close for Goulden. Ricochets down to Durham. He was taken from behind by Rowbottom, and now it goes out of bounds on the full. So the Swans ball at right half forward. Well, a weird game on the Gold Coast. It's almost half-time there. The Suns are 6-5-41. Richmond 5 behinds. Sydney comes back in the field of play. Laddams marks in the pocket. Deep at right, full forward. No more than 12 metres out.
Usually not a bad shot on goal, Adams.
And he goes for a check side effort here and misses near side. Thank you, Sato. Right on cue. 4-8-32. Neither side's looked much good in front of goal today. That was a tough angle though. 2-6-18 Essendon. Swans life 14 as you approach time on in the second term.
Well, they are camping Essendon in their own defensive 50. Grundy's taken the mark. It's going to go back into attack for the Swans. Grundy having a big influence. Possession number 15 for him into the pocket. He finds Buller, who's marking the ball really well, but down the swing and in attack. And Jack Buller will have a shot from a very tight angle in the left forward pocket.
He's going to give it off, isn't he, for another goal assist?
He's given off two already. One to Goulden, one to Campbell. No, he's dropped the footy and he's pulling up the socks. The young West Australian. Mid-season draft selection. Taken some time, but with all three of McLean, McDonald and Amadi out, he's been given opportunities and he's the main man in attack today. That kick's looking really good. Jack Buller, that is a beauty! The big man puts both arms up in the air in celebration, as if he's taken a big wicket here at the SCG. That was a wonderful strike from the tightest of angles. And the Swans are now out to a 20-point lead.
Well, it's the old school drop punt.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm going to try and curve this around like most players would have done from there, he said, I'm just going to have the old school drop punt. He's threaded it through a treat. Great finish. He's certainly grabbed that opportunity, hasn't he, as the key forward. You mentioned the players that are out for the Swans that would normally be selected ahead of him.
But would they now, though?
Oh, no, they wouldn't.
I'm looking at. I think he's jumped ahead of him just from what he's shown in this short period of time. He competes while he moves, and he went back there with confidence. I think now it's his position to lose, to be honest.
Yep, no, he's been fantastic.
By the way, if you thought the Jack Ginnivan fine for giving the bird was the biggest Hawthorn news added today, Hawthorn midfielder Will Day has sustained a bone stress injury in his foot, the same foot as his previous issue. Kick goes inside 50 here for the Swans, but it's marked by Detoli. Will Day will miss the rest of the year.
He can't get a break.
Yeah, it's
that is rotten luck.
He did get a break.
Yeah, well, the wrong kind.
Meanwhile, here is Jesse Detoli on debut for the Sydney Swans, and
too soon.
They've sort of found their. I think Hawthorn fans are certainly laughing, and yeah, it's rotten luck for Will Day. That does compound that loss in a very entertaining game last night for Hawthorn. Here is Jesse Detoli on debut, first round pick last year. He himself had a delayed start to his AFL career. Set shot from 45, looks pretty good. Missing to the left-hand side. The Swans are 5-9-39. Bombers are 2-6-18. 22 go on second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
I was looking for Errol Goulden there, Garby. Off the back of your scoop, there's some big celebration coming. Didn't get it, though.
Very big story. There's a slightly bigger one, Will Day's injury.
Yep.
There's the Bombers on the wing. Dersma pokes it forward. Here's Blakey. Handball inboard to Heaney, and now Cunningham. He'll switch it across defensive 50. Rampy will mark and go. He's got Errol in lots of space. He uses that running power to break away.
Just can't get their hands.
Sheldrick, sorry.
Can't get their hands on the ball, the Bombers.
It was Sheldrick. He goes forward to McInerney. No, it's been all Sydney for the last 10 minutes or so, dominating this game.
It's good. Look, the way they're defending, they're not really picking anyone up. The Swans are doing what they want. They're playing uncontested marks in wet weather footy.
Long kick into attack by Rowbottom. Peter Wright's back there, off hands. Campbell gathers it. Can't get free of Roberts with the boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Swans. So he might just be one of those players, Will Day, whose body constantly lets him down. It's a shame because he's such a massive talent, but there have been a fair few of them in sport and AFL footy, and at the moment it looks like, unfortunately, fitting in that category.
Approaching half-time here in Sydney. Swans by 21. Back in it comes. Grundy palms it down. Now flows up at ground level. McInerney spills it away here in the path of Heaney. And now Hobbs wrapped up by Goulden. The umpire will ball it up.
And Gub, to that point, that's just the reality of professional sport. You know, you can have all the talent and skill, but resilience in your body is one of those things that you need.
Grundy out of the ruck. Finds Warner on the bounce. Works it back to Goulden. Not required 15. Play on. Hand pass at the top there to Mills. Matt Luwell front on. Mills slaps it out the advantage of Jordan. Run down by Hobbs. Too high. Sydney free kick in front of the scoreboard at right half forward.
It was better intent to get after the Swans in that bit of play, but just a bit sloppy on the tackle.
Swans by 21 points. And in the second term, inside 50, 17-7. Here's another one into the pocket. Grundy at front position. Well done by Archer May to make a contest and punch that away from Brodie Grundy. We'll have another boundary throw in the right forward pocket, for the Swans.
Positive for the Bombers, though, is that the Swans haven't been able to put them away off the back of that.
Yep, still in this game. It'll be Laddams and Blackiston doing the right work. Laddams set to be rewarded with a new contract as well at Sydney. Here's Warner, got it to Papley. McInerney on a standing start, pokes it into the pocket looking for Laddams, just went over his head and bounces once and over the boundary line. We'll have a third boundary throw in from that area of the ground in the last couple of minutes.
He's their super sub, Pebs. He was their sub 2 weeks ago, Peter Laddams.
Is that public knowledge?
No, it's not confirmed yet, but apparently it's on the cards, which a lot of Swans fans have raised eyebrows at. You're not the first.
Is there ruck bias in the Swans coaching mix? Blackiston, hand pass off here. Shield can rebound for the Bombers. Out towards left half back, and McCartan traps it there for the Swans. And it was out of bounds over for all that, so we'll throw it back in. Phil Pry, down to you on the boundary.
Yeah, that shower, it only stuck around for a few minutes. It was just one of those things. I got the brolly up and there was so much wind around that I couldn't even... it was just blowing all over the place. So the wind has stuck around, but the rain, thankfully, is behind us.
The boundary rider's nightmare a day like today. Could be a whole lot worse, though, based on what we've seen in Sydney this week. Swans by 21 points. Here is Laddams. Well tackled by McGrath on that contest. Ball spills free. Papley up against the debutant Nguyen, who's doing a really good job on Tom Papley. And we've got another boundary thrown in the right forward pocket for the Swans. So Papley has just the 5 disposals, and Nguyen has a couple himself, but he's done a really good defensive job so far.
Yeah, hasn't had any influence at all, Papley, has he? He hasn't had a shot on goal. There's no excitement. There's no burst in his game. So great job for the debutant.
Sydney have kicked 1 goal, 6 in this second term. Laddams toes it forward here. And they clear the area here, Essendon, through Gresham towards the outer side. Sliding in, Peter Wright. Mills with a loose ball. Pumps it inside 50 now, off hands. Laddams down to Sheldrick. Detoli the hand pass, little 1-2 give, and now it's Campbell. Whistle on play will come back as Campbell fires on goal. Fancy will come back. A little bit of a push and shove here as well, involving, surprise, surprise, Tom Papley. And also Justin McInerney and Ben Hobbs are in there as well. Guelphy. It's an Essendon free kick, I assume, based on the fact no advantage was paid.
No, Swans free kick.
Maybe a Swans free. Let's see what it was for.
Push on Papley after he dished off the handball.
Okay. So, this will be a Tom Papley set shot from 52. This will test his distance ordinarily, albeit he does have the breeze behind him, coming from that southern or Randwick end of the SCG. Moving closer to half-time here. Papley trots in off a few steps, curves back in the breeze, and through for a goal! Papley's first of the afternoon. Sydney extends their lead to 27. 6-9-45 plays 2-6-18 here at the SCG. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Jason Saddington, Ryan O'Keefe.
Well, I'm still not quite sure what it was for. Like, trying to see what the replay is.
Yeah, I think once Papley got rid of the handball, he got shoved in the back.
Oh, here we go.
Just here, gets it, throws the handball over his head.
Deck it behind.
Yeah, just gets shoved in the back.
Wow.
Free kick. It was bound to happen, though, wasn't it? We're just talking about Papley's had no influence and he kicks a goal. So it's a common thread in this game. I've got to stop talking.
That's goal 299 of Tom Papley's career. So the big 300 for him is set to come this afternoon as well. Swans up by 27.
50.
Free kick going the way of the Bombers, and they'll eventually go inside 50. It's been a long time since they've done that. It's because of a 50-metre penalty, and Blackiston
again
will have a shot on goal. It's a
protected zone.
A rule that needs changing.
Gee, that's a short 52.
That is.
He's having a shot from 35 out.
Greg Swan has hinted that rule will be looked at closely. Too many 50s that fans don't know what they're quite for. On the halftime siren, the Bombers need this badly. Lockie Blackiston on his left boot. Just fades that to the left-hand side. He's out of bounds on the full, misses everything, hit the behind post. So Sydney preserve their 27-point lead at the main break. They are 6-9-45, Essendon 2-6-18. The Swans doing it comfortably.
Goals in that second term to Tom Papley and Jack Buller, joining Errol Goulden, who kicked the first goal of the game, his 100th appearance. James Rowbottom, Braden Campbell, Justin McInerney on the board as well so far. Meanwhile, for Essendon, singles to Perkins and Guelphy, and they kicked no goals in that second term. The Bombers, Sydney's lead 27 points at the major break. Your experts here on ABC Sport are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Well, that's the third out of bounds in the full quarter from Essendon. Like, they've had the opportunities, they just haven't been able to hit the scoreboard at all. But probably the most disappointing thing from Essendon is just the way that they're just not showing any fight, and they're just happy to play camp behind the ball in the game, and the Swans are just playing it in their front half, and really Essendon are not firing a shot or not showing any sort of, game style that's going to get them out of where they are as a team or a list at the moment.
Yeah, they've just they've struggled through the back half of that quarter. Essendon struggled to actually get their hands on the footy, didn't they? I mean, the Swans just dominated possession. You look at the totals for the game now. Possession-wise, Sydney's had 218 possessions to Essendon's 137. So they're just dominating possession. The Swans, a lot of ball in their front half. Essendon trying to get it back, but once they do get it back in D50, they struggle to get any sort of chain going. It's one possession, turn it over, give it back to the Swans, send it back in.
I would sort of argue that they're not trying to get the ball back. You can see the way they're defending, so that's why there's such a discrepancy in disposals, because they're just camping back and they're letting the Swans have an uncontested game and mark and getting huge possession. So they're just spending their whole time sort of defending and guarding grass, where the Swans are controlling the game, controlling the ball. Essendon can't get it in their hands. So how are they going to score? How are they going to put any pressure on the Swans if they're just sort of not defending? They're just they're out there running around looking like cows out in the paddock.
Yeah. And the only thing that probably worked in their favour is the Swans didn't punish them on the scoreboard through that quarter. So, to be only 4 goals down in a game where they probably really struggled to get anything sort of going through that second quarter. Conditions obviously pretty tough out there. The wind's very blowy. Yeah. Essendon were kicking into it, so it was hard to get anything going when you're kicking into a heavy wind. It's wet, but they do have to change their game a little bit. Essendon, they've got to find a way to get the footy and get it through that back half and up the field to some forwards and get it inside 50. But the way it's trending at the moment, it looks like it's the Swans' game, and almost by how much, isn't it?
A couple of stories from the first half. A couple of debutants on display today. Jesse Detoli, 8 disposals, a couple of behinds, so he's been lively. And Nguyen for the Bombers. And that is Jaden Nguyen, playing on Tom Papley on debut. Papley kicked a goal late in that first half, but other than that, has kept the Swans gun quiet. So he's really impressed. And what about Jack Buller? No McDonald, no Amati, and no McLean this afternoon, and he's looked really strong up forward. Kicked a brilliant goal from the boundary in that second term, and he's dished 2 off. Yeah,
and he's been a strong contested mark. He's a great target for them. It's something they've been screaming out for all year in the Swans, isn't it? Someone up forward they can go through. He's been fantastic. Blakey, a little bit quiet of that quarter through half-back, but he's had plenty of footy. And Brodie Grundy's been outstanding again, hasn't he? He's just carried his form through. He's dominating in the middle in the ruck there, and he's also getting forward. 17 possessions, 11 contested, but he's had a couple of shots on goal. He's kicked 1 point, but 8 score involvement. So that's big from Brodie Grundy through that through that half. And for the Swans, I mean, Durham's been pretty strong. He hasn't used the ball great. I think that quarter he had a couple of shots on goal that he sprayed like a few others, but he's been winning at 16 possessions for the Bombers.
No movement as far as subs so far. Caden Cleary and Oscar Smart, the respective sides here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Just quickly at Carrara, it's half-time there. Gold Coast 6-5-41 leads Richmond just the 5 behind in the half of footy. So Gold Coast will be provisionally up to 5th. Tonight, of course, the big game to come is Collingwood v Brisbane at the MCG. Massive game to determine, well, Collingwood can retake top spot from Adelaide, who, of course, won last night. But Gold Coast up to 5th for now. Of course, Freo plays against Carlton tomorrow, so that will then reshuffle the deck there a little bit. But it's an exciting run home this next 3.5 weeks to that final top 8 makeup. Earlier, Melbourne beat West Coast by 83 points at Docklands. We'll hear from a former Eagle and current Demon after our news break. But here at the SCG, Swans by 27 points. 6-9-45 plays 2-6-18. Time to head to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, good afternoon, I'm William Howard. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has acknowledged members of the Yoorrook Justice Commission in his keynote address at the 25th Annual Garma Festival, saying the nation is still coming to terms with the full truth and toll of injustices experienced by First Nations people in Victoria. The Yoorrook Justice Commission is Australia's first Indigenous-led truth-telling inquiry, which found First Nations people in Victoria have endured crimes against humanity and genocide since the beginning of colonisation. Mr Albanese says Australia must harness the power of inclusion.
By neglect and by design, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people were cut off from the nourishment of culture and country, from the fullness of their history, the wealth of their land and waters, from their rightful equal place in our economy and society.
A business professor says the Victorian government's proposal to legalise people's right to work from home 2 days a week is a symbolic gesture. The Victorian government says it intends to enact the laws before next year's state election. But state governments do not hold jurisdiction over industrial relations laws, which are overseen by the federal government. Sarah Charlesworth from RMIT University's College of Business and Law says the proposed changes would give employees greater power in working arrangements.
People have been, in an informal sense and also formally, striking agreements for years, and this is just putting a line in the sand and saying this is perfectly normal and Victorian workers should be entitled to, where they can, to avail themselves of this particular flexibility of location.
New South Wales Police say they're scrambling to ensure a pro-Palestinian march on the Sydney Harbour Bridge planned for tomorrow is held safely after a failed bid to block the protest from going ahead. A Supreme Court judge has refused the Police Commissioner's application for a prohibition order on the rally, which was lodged due to safety concerns. Justice Belinda Rigg expressed confidence that the organisers and supporters would continue to work constructively with police to ensure it's a safe event. Acting Deputy Commissioner Peter McKenna says he accepts the judgment and is now focused on making sure it goes ahead as smoothly as possible.
We have to scramble now, there's no doubt about that. And transport will be taking the lead role in that. We've got to get the messaging out to the community who may have wanted to come into the city tomorrow, who will be inconvenienced by tomorrow, that these closures are occurring and there will be significant disruption.
Police are investigating reports of malicious damage to a New South Wales MP's office. Greens MP Jenny Leong has posted on social media saying the front door of her electorate office in Sydney has been smashed after she put up a poster about the pro-Palestinian march planned for tomorrow. Officers are urging anyone with information to contact police. US authorities are scouring a mountainous area in the west of the state of Montana for a military veteran they say opened fire at a bar, killing 4 people. The 45-year-old fled the shooting scene in a pickup truck and later dumped it. Authorities say while police have not received any reports of the suspect harming other people, he is believed to be armed and is considered extremely dangerous. US President Donald Trump says he's ordered the repositioning of 2 American nuclear submarines to protect American people after threats from a former Russian president. Here's Ali Crew.
Mr Trump says he's ordered the subs to be deployed to an appropriate location following comments made on social media by former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Mr Medvedev had posted that each new ultimatum from the US President regarding the war with Ukraine was a step towards war between the US and Russia. Mr Trump says he had to act.
A threat was made by a former president of Russia, and we're going to protect our people.
It comes as the Ukrainian capital Kyiv observes an official day of mourning after a Russian drone and missile attack on the city killed 31 people. Officials say 5 children were among those killed, the youngest just 2 years old.
An independent has claimed the final seat in the Tasmanian Parliament 2 weeks after the state held its 4th election in 7 years. George Raze, a doctor and City of Launceston councillor, secured the last spot in Bass, edging out a Labor candidate. It brings an end to vote counting, resulting in the Liberals with 14 seats, Labor 10, the Greens 5, Independents 5, and the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party with 1 seat. The Tasmanian Electoral Commission is set to formally declare the elected MPs on Tuesday. ABC News.
Sean McAuliffe here, back to torment our brightest and best about the treasures they'd save from disaster. Get into trouble for that.
Brand new Sean McAuliffe's Eve of Destruction.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Back Wednesday, August 13 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
They are camping Essendon in their own defensive 50. Grundy's taken the mark. It's going to go back into attack for the Swans. Grundy having a big influence. Possession number 15 for him into the pocket. He finds Buller, who's marking the ball really well. He's the main man in attack today. That kick's looking really good. Jack Buller, that is a beauty! The big man puts both arms up in the air in celebration, as if he's taken a big wicket here at the SCG. That was a wonderful strike from the tightest of angles.
This will be a Tom Papley set shot from 52. This will test his distance ordinarily, albeit he does have the breeze behind him. Papley trots in off a few steps, curves back in the breeze and through for a goal. Papley's first of the afternoon. Sydney extends their lead to 27.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sydney by 27 points in their SCG Pride game, an event they've done since 2016 with St Kilda. This is the first time with Essendon. The message that everyone is welcome at the footy, regardless of anything, but especially sexual orientation. So the Swans have embraced that initiative. And they lead here at home by 27 points over Essendon. A couple of things you may have missed, just came out a short time ago, out of last night's win for Adelaide over Hawthorn, in particular for the Hawthorn loss side of things. The fact that Jack Ginnivan fined for his obscene gesture as he came off the ground in the players' race, $1,000 the early plea. I think he knew straight away he was getting sanctioned. The bigger news is surrounding Will Day, who will miss the rest of the season now with bone stress in his foot, the same foot he had the navicular issue. So you could well argue that maybe he came back early or whatever else, but it's significant for Hawthorn that Will Day will miss the rest of the season. That news just coming to hand a short time ago. You're back here with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington and Phil Pryor on the boundary. Currently at Carrara. It is half-time in the game between Gold Coast and Richmond. In fact, the third term's just getting underway. And Gold Coast 6-6-42 leads Richmond at the 5 behind. Earlier at Docklands, Melbourne consigned West Coast their third wooden spoon. So that's now confirmed. I think we all thought it was headed there, but that is officially confirmed. West Coast can't avoid the wooden spoon for just the third time in their history. An 83-point win for the Demons over West Coast at Docklands. Former Eagle Jai Cully played his first game for the Demons and featured in his first AFL win. That is grim. You played 12 games over 3 years at one club and don't win a game, and you played your very first victory for your new club there against the old club. Here is Jai Cully telling ABC Sport post-game what that first ever win meant to him.
I'm pretty speechless at the moment. You know, I was pretty nervous all week, and to get the first win against the old boys, couldn't be happier.
And a couple of goals in there as well, but is there an extra feeling in it when it is against your old side?
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of put this one in the calendar pretty early in the year, and luckily enough, Goody gave me the opportunity, and here today, and couldn't be happier.
I'm going to talk for a minute while you take your shoes off and stand back up. But this has been a bit of a tough run for you. I guess there was injury and then training on with Melbourne and getting called up at the last minute. Your family's also very proud Demons fans. What's the first thing they've said to you?
They just wrapped my arms around me, big smiles on their faces, and I didn't get here alone, so this one's for them as well.
Joy, it hasn't been easy for you, has it? To come back, you played a handful of games at West Coast, you do your knee, then you get the opportunity at Melbourne. It's been pretty tough, hasn't it, the last couple of years?
Yeah, a bit of adversity along the way, but I feel like I'm a pretty resilient person, and when things sort of don't go my way, I don't... sorry, Choco's just laughing at me, making me lose my concentration, but... what was the question again, boys?
Well, just about you. It hasn't been easy to get back to AFL football for you.
Nah, absolutely not. Luckily enough, Casey gave me an opportunity early in the year, and fortunately enough, got to train with the boys. Nothing was guaranteed, and sort of just trained once a week there, and lucky enough, sort of performed, and things sort of fell my way. Boys got injuries, and a list spot opened up, and. As I said before, I'm here today and couldn't be happier.
So take us into the moment where I imagine it was Simon Goodwin tells you that you're playing your first game. Who presented the jumper to you today? How many family did you have here? What are you doing after the game to celebrate playing your first game for Melbourne?
Yeah, well, the rooms are pretty packed now, and I think that half of them are all my family. So, we'll celebrate tonight. We'll. Not sure what we're doing, but we'll celebrate tonight, and then we'll focus on next week and go from there. So, as I said, couldn't be happier.
Who presented your jumper?
I've actually forgotten his name. Sorry, boys.
If it makes you feel any better, I know Kane Corns presented Dan Houston with his Port Adelaide jumper and then introduced himself to Dan Houston 2 weeks later. So it can happen.
Yeah.
Joe, don't worry about
it. He's a rooster. That's all I know. He's a big, tall fella.
Troy Simmons was the person who presented the jumper.
There you go.
Great
Snake.
Yeah. 3-club player, and of course played in the grand final, famously, that you played in, Rama, back in the year 2000. Joe, talk us through your Melbourne fandom growing up. There was a great picture on the television broadcast about showing you in a D's jumper when you were little. Who were your favourite players, and what do you remember about barracking for Melbourne when you were young?
Yeah, well, growing up, me and the old man used to go every week. Sort of used to leave at 3/4 time because we weren't great back then. So, for me and the old man, this means a lot. To pull on the red and blue. Unfortunately enough, it was against the old boys. So, this one just means really extra special. So, yeah.
Jai, great to see you back out there doing big things. Enjoy the win and appreciate your time on ABC Sport.
Thank you. Cheers, boys.
Jai Cully, the new Demon, speaking there to our team at Docklands after they beat West Coast, his old team, by 83 points. And I like that. He didn't quite know who gave him his first. He just described Troy Simmons as the big, tall rooster. Actually, there was a cool story here about Jaden Ewan, one of our 2 debutants in this game, and obviously Essendon's 14th debutant, if you missed that stat, a record in the AFL era. But he had his dad, who came to Australia as a refugee from Vietnam nearly 40 years ago. And even though he's been here for a long time, his dad was quite nervous at doing the presentation, said when he's public speaking, his English doesn't go so well. So I'm sure it was a nice moment for the Ewan family with Jaden in the rooms before the game.
Good on Jai Cully. He was looking really good at one stage at West Coast, got a rising star nom, then did his knee, and it was pretty much discarded. A lot of people at the Eagles felt he should have been given more of a go last year and maybe given a 1-year contract. Melbourne picked him up. Okay, they did it easily today over West Coast, but nice to see him cash in and get a win, and perhaps he's got a future in the AFL after all of that.
Just by the way, on things happening elsewhere, in the NRL, the Panthers beat Gold Coast in a game which featured a big comeback. So there's a few things happening just in the NRL, and of course that's all happening while I update my screen. But the Panthers did beat Gold Coast 30 points to 26, which included Penrith being 24 points to nil up at half time. So they held off the late finishing Gold Coast Titans there. In Wollongong, St George Illawarra and Canberra 0-0 through 9 minutes in the first half. Manly v the Roosters later on tonight, but also tonight at the Stadium Australia at Homebush, British and Irish Lions, third test. Of course, the series is done as far as the possible result. The Wallabies were beaten controversially at a packed MCG this time last week, but you'll hear a full call of British and Irish Lions with Quentin Hull, Stephen Moore and Declan Byrne on the call there from 7:30. That's on the ABC Listen app. And indeed, you find that on the Sport Extra button. Just, by the way, at Carrara, third term there, and Richmond still haven't... Oh, they kicked a goal now. They've kicked their first goal through Harry Armstrong. It's Gold Coast 7-6-48. The Tigers 1-5-11 midway through the third term there. Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington, Swans by 27. Is there a path back for Essendon?
Oh, I just think they've got to rip in now and show a bit of fight, show some defensive side of their game, that they want to win the ball back as quick as they can and not just let Swans dictate the game. I think they've got to change it up and show something different and give their fans some hope of what the future might look like.
I feel like it's going to be a game where the Swans just open it up and that start to hit that scoreboard hard. Normally in a second half, Errol Goulden's a player that just keeps going and going. He's only had I shouldn't say only, but he's had 13 possessions through the first half. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends 30 plus with a couple of more goals.
Let's get the second half underway here at the SCG on ABC Sport. You're back with Daniel Garb.
Swans by 27 points. Grundy taps it down to Heaney. There's a free kick going the way of the Swans. Advantage not paid though. Going the way of the Bombers. Umpire pointed the wrong way to start. Be Zach Merritt in the middle of the SCG. Couple of steps. Now launches it inside 50. A big lead by Durham. Now Hobbs does the roving work. Dribbles one towards goal and misses by a fair distance, considering he wasn't under much pressure at all. Could have gone the drop punt. Either way, a missed opportunity early for the Bombers to start the third quarter. Swans lead by 26 points.
We saw 2 goals, 6 to 2 behinds in that second term, so we'll see if we can give you a better go of things in the third term. Buller crashes the ground here. Overrun down there by Archie Roberts. He recovers here, and now his kick is wobbling toward the pocket. Stays alive somehow. Kako onto it now. He can snap. Goes right across the face of goal. In the other pocket, Rampy competes in the air, and it will be a free kick going the Bombers' way. So he gave away the free kick on Angus Clark, did Dane Rampy.
Just eyes off the ball, Rampy running back, blind. Jumped up, completely took the run out of the Essendon player. He was just trying to come forward for the mark.
So Angus Clark, one of the nine players out there tonight that's debuted this year. He was the rising star on when his first game round 11. He slots the set shot here. Essendon's first goal since early in the first term. So 3-7-25 the Bombers. They trail the Swans to a 6-9-45. Margin 20 the home side's way. Hot start here for Essendon in this third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Hopefully it gives them a bit of a spark and fire. It was a lovely kick by the young fella, but yeah, hopefully it gives them a bit of a spark to really put some pressure on this third quarter.
There's nothing pretty about it, was it? They got the free kick in the middle, which certainly helped them get in that front half, and then a couple of sort of scrap kicks thrown on the boot. But at least it gives yourself a chance, doesn't it?
They benefited from a very lucky bounce in the left forward pocket as well. And allowed them to keep it alive. But Angus Clark has his 5th goal in AFL footy. The Swans lead is only 20 points despite their complete dominance of that second term. Grundy down to Warner. Manages to get a kick free. Bouncing ball. Jordan soccers it off the ground towards the wing. It is wet weather footy after that massive downpour in the second term. And Blakey and Hobbs did the ball over on the outer wing under the Bill O'Reilly stand. Swans leading by 20 points, and afternoon has now become evening here at the SCG. The lights are on. The biggest crowd, the smallest of the season by a long way, courtesy of the Swans' ladder position and the horrible weather in Sydney.
Umpire tosses it back in. Grundy and Goldstein, 2 great rucks in this competition. Durham slips the Heaney tackle. Hands off to McGrath, and now Goldstein. Back here to Jackson Pryor. Rebounds from half back. Rampy went to spoil. Probably could have marked. Hand pass comes away here as Newen On to Hobbs. They work at forward of halfway again to the Bombers. Melican mops up in defence here for the Swans. He'll swing it across the defensive goal mouth for Goulden, who marks at fullback here for the Swans at the Paddington end of the ground. He comes down the line, sliding out and marking McInerney. Swans by 20 points here. 6-9 plays 3-7. 4 gone third term.
What a kick by Goulden. Got it back from McInerney. Spotted up Rampy in the middle of the ground. It was a laser-like effort. Now James Jordan runs onto it. Pokes it towards Heaney. He takes the mark, fully outstretched, 30 out directly in front. But Errol Goulden, there are very few players in the AFL who can execute that kick to Rampy amongst a sea of players in the middle of the SCG.
And he's totally, since he's come back, he's totally changed the way the Swans have been able to play, particularly in attack. Like his foot use breaks games up and breaks opposition's defences.
As does his run.
Yeah.
Isaac Heaney for his 30th goal of the season. He is the Swans' leading goal kicker in 2025. Usually makes the most of these. Does so again this time around. The Swans strike back after Essendon kicked the first of the third term. The lead is 26 points. And their reigning club champion Isaac Heaney is on the board.
This is class, isn't he? He just finishes it well, but this is again Essendon. Like, you got Isaac Heaney all alone in the forward 50. He's the best player on the ground by a long mile, and you just let him stand there with uncontested mark. Like, how are you supposed to? Like, how are you supposed to teach your team and teach your defence when you go, well, that's Isaac Heaney. He's just an okay player. We'll let him run around free and take uncontested marks. Like, wow.
It's that balance isn't between guarding space, but then actually getting close enough and getting some body on an opponent. And that's a bit there. And with maybe a young, inexperienced team, you can give a little bit of leeway, but you just got to find that balance.
Here he goes back to the middle to stand Zach Merritt. There's the clearance here as well. Hand pass to Goulden, off to Grundy. Escapes the tackle of Luwal. Now Goulden's hand pass picked off by the Bombers. They did well. One back by Archie May. They go inside 50 and it bounces away from Durham for a throw-in. Just mentioned Dane Rampy earlier, Garby. So he's up to game number 269. And he's 8th most overall. The next two ahead of him, Josh Kennedy, 277. Ryan O'Keefe, 286. So if he goes around again next year, there's a few guys he might look to try and topple.
Well, maybe we don't offer that contract.
No, I'm only joking.
That could be a big story at Sydney if Dane Rampy is not given a new deal by Dean Cox. You'd think it's more likely he would be, considering he said he wants to play on.
I don't know. I think they're creating space for Laddams, mate. So.
As Merrick goes short to Peter Wright, that's clearly not a popular decision according to Ryan O'Keefe. Peter Wright, who has been largely unsighted this afternoon, just the 4 touches, will have a shot on goal. He's first of the game. This one's leading by 26 points. Wright will hit this from 50. Pretty much on a 45-degree angle. 2-metre Peter slides it across the face, and down there is McCartan. Chose to take the mark instead of spoil, or try to take the mark off hands, and the Swans have brushed it through for a behinds, and they lead by 25 points.
A little bit better shot on goal than that, Peter Wright. He really leant back on it, didn't he? Had no momentum through the kick, which is why it even fell short.
And also Jason Saddington on ABC Sport. Blakey to McCartan. And Blakey received a hand pass. We're going to come back here.
I think he ran across in front of McCartan to receive it, so obviously you can't receive the line of the ball.
No, umpire's going to say it's out of bounds here. So Blakey didn't have the chance to really mark it. So it was deemed that it wasn't out on the full, but it was taken by Blakey over the line and not marked. So it's a throw in here. Stoppage inside 50 for Essendon.
Well, that's
out in the full.
That's out in the full, or it's a mark.
I think it's one or the other, isn't it?
Like, how can you?
Grundy back here to Mills under pressure. Clears to the outer side. Redmond back with the flight. Spoil from Laddams down to Gresham. Puts Essendon back inside attacking 50. And at the back, McCartan takes the intercept mark and they're away.
And plays on. McCartan kicks for space on the wing, but there's a free kick going the way of Essendon. So that McCartan mark not paid. And the Bombers will have a shot from 30 out directly in front. And it will go the way of Archer May.
Yeah, watching that live, it did look like McCartan just got the hands in the back, just a little nudge, but he's got to use his body better. That's the second time he's getting given away a free kick to hands in the back, McCartan.
So they're hot on that this week. There's clearly been a directive that we're not paying enough pushes in the back. Greg Swan's come in and said it's gone out of the game. There were a number of those free kicks paid in the Melbourne West Coast game this afternoon that frustrated defenders. No one saw that coming. Archer may benefit. He out directly in front. He makes the most of it as well. With a goal. The Bombers are only 19 points behind. Archer May has the 7th goal of his AFL career.
The challenge for McCartan is it becomes a bit of a habit. He's done it twice, like we said, to just nudge his player under it with his hands. And it wasn't a big push, but it was enough to just push May under that ball a couple of metres for McCartan to take the mark. There's a little bit of shoulder in it, I know, but if you're behind and you're going to use the hands, you're probably going to get pinged, like you said, especially with that extra focus on it from the umpires.
But it's interesting, though, you adjudicate a game a certain way all season, then all of a sudden 3 rounds to go, you go, we're going to sort of...
But it's always been the rule, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but players will keep pushing. If they're being allowed to do it, they'll keep doing it. But then all of a sudden you stop it.
Goal for Archer May. Restart back in the middle. Heaney's hand pass off to Sheldrick, almost run down by Durham. Got the handball away though. McInerney back to Jordan. Slews inside 50. Produce something off half-back here, Archie Roberts. Dummies a couple of hand passes, and now the kick wide to Hobbs. A little too wide, but Hobbs gets on the end of it, and it skids out of bounds on the outer side in front of the O'Reilly stand. So Bombers with back-to-back goals in this third term so far. 7-9 plays, 4-8, margin 19 points, 10 going third quarter. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Meanwhile at Carrara, Gold Coast lead Richmond by 49 points.
Grundy and Peter Wright wrestling away. Lual gets over the football, falls on it. Ball squeezes out. Wright dishes the handball back to Redmond, met solidly by McInerney. Gresham finds it. High ball to half forward, punched away from the contest by Melican. McGrath gets hands to it. His handball was chopped off by Jordan, and then a good tackle by Cunningham on Lual. Ball up just inside 50 for the Bombers. I know what you're saying, Ryan O'Keefe. It's a change of interpretation halfway through a season, which happens a lot in the AFL, but it catches players out.
3 quarters through the season.
Durham breaks the pack. Hand pass off to Hobbs, who can finish from 30 out. No. This is to the right-hand side. So the Bombers keep peppering away this third quarter. 4-9-33. Trail Sydney, who was 7-9-51.
Pebs, he called for Essendon to dig in, rip in a little bit. They've certainly done that. Contested possession. They're winning the quarter by 9, I think.
Rampy has it in the left back pocket to Sydney. Sends it up to the wing. Game on all of a sudden. Off the chest of Grundy, the ball spilt. Heaney and now Sheldrick. Clever tap by Bullard to Heaney. On his left, looks for Goulden. Dersma closes on him. Punches it away. Ball's inside 50. With the attacking sense for Sydney. Coming out to meet it is Blackiston. And the ball spills all the way back into attack for the Swans. Papley just farmed it over the top to Buller. Good tackle on him by Jackson Pryor. And then Goulden with a soccer effort. His kick is smothered. Spills all the way out to Gresham at right half back. And he looks for Peter Wright off his hands. Picked off by McInerney. Swans going to attack again.
Florent has good vision across to Cunningham, who controls the mark. 65 from goal. Wider still to find Goulden. And he holds up play for a moment. Now Goulden on the entry. Down the corridor he goes. Wants to find Heaney. Couldn't get there. Papley does the roving. Is he taken high down there by Laverty? Umpire says we'll throw it back in. He's over the boundary line. Bit of a shove there from Papley on the bigger body Laverty. So stoppage inside 50 here for the home side, who lead by just 18 points now. It was 27 points at the major break. Umpire throws it back in. Out of the ruck, Grundy. Overrun by Laverty. McGrath now for the Bombers. Perkins. Roberts the hand pass. Off to the right-hand side. Newen, and now McGrath can clear for Essendon.
Just throws it on the boot. Contest made by McMahon, but Florent did well to rove it. Got it down to Goulden. Quick thinking. Moved it on to Melican in the middle of the SCG. He'll switch it once more. The mark is taken by Papley. Trying to get into the game. This will be just his 8th disposal, along with the 1 goal, Tom Papley. The debutant in Newen doing a great job on him for Essendon. Papley's kick looks for Grundy. Gresham, half his size, made a really good contest inside his own defensive 50. Dersma, through hands, they work it out to Peter Wright. He shifts it to half back where Lual has taken the mark. So the Bombers have started this half nicely. The Wales kick for Dersma is short. Gathered it though, got the 1-2 with Laverty.
They've got nowhere to go because all their players in their back half.
Now spots up Goldstein at centre half back. Swans lead by 18 points.
Todd Goldstein played here for the first time back in 2009 for North Melbourne in a game in which Brett Kirk and Ryan O'Keefe come up with 74 disposals between them. A fair long time ago now as Laverty out to Lual. Right half back. Back to Jalen Laverty. Pressure comes from Heaney. Hand pass over the top there with Roberts. He was run aground. Holding the ball all over him was Buller. Good pressure in there from Buller inside the paint of the 50. So he'll have a set shot here from left half forward, 45 metres out.
Well, that's what. If you're going to camp your numbers back and have it, and they're winning the ball, but they're
going nowhere
because they've got no one to kick to, and in the conditions, it's not conducive to playing a high possession brand of footy. Like, I know they're young players, but the young players have been directed by someone. So what's the direction? Because they're going to play like that, they're going to give themselves no chance.
4 goals in 2 games, Jack Buller, and then he was goalless in the derby last week. Already has 1 so far this evening on the approach to the Randwick end. Started approach, connects from 50. It's very high, it's very long, it's not very accurate. It's out of bounds on the full. So it remains Sydney 7-9-51, Essendon 4-9-33. Margin is 3 goals the Swans' way, 15 go on third term.
Just go long down the line, get this ball out of D50, Essendon.
It's Todd Goldstein taking the kick though, so that's one of the big men down to make a contest. Peter Wright will do that though, stuck a hand up, and he's won a free kick for a hold of the arm by Melican. So Peter Wright has the football just behind the wing. Swans leading by only 18 points. Failed to put away the Bombers in the second term, and Essendon have started the third quarter nicely. Here's Jackson Pryor, left half back. Moves it up to half forward. McMahon with a nice leap. Ball's well roved by Durham, but Wicks put a strong tackle on him, and Durham didn't like it, gave him some afters as the ball spilled to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in left half forward for Essendon. 18 possessions for Durham, 6 inside 50s, 5 score involvements.
Laddams and Wright contest the ruck. Laddams down to Warner, partly smothered. Shield bursts away, balks around Warner. Centering ball, probably one toward the half-forward area. Florent on the bounce, can rebound quickly for the Swans. Off to Rowbottom, and now Lloyd bursting by as well. Shares it by hand to Heaney. Goes inside 50. Awkward low ball there for Buller. Catoli is lurking. Receives the hand pass from Buller. Gives it back now in space. Laverty is there for Essendon. His handball goes over the head of Roberts and through for a rush behind. So a point for Sydney. 7-10-52. Essendon 4-9-33. 17 going third term. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
They got out of jail there, Essendon. Dylan Shields' kick here, just high at the top of their forward 50. It was a poor kick. Easy turnover to Swans, go straight back through the middle.
McInerney was free in the goal square. They failed to spot him up, Sydney, as they attacked there. Maybe a bit too Jesse Detoli conscious on debut, trying to get it to the first game up.
He doesn't score a goal here, Garby. I'm disappointed because you've booked this whole thing up, this celebration. It doesn't happen. I'll be
a good celebration.
No, I'll be so flat going over. There's no Jesse Detoli goal today, I swear.
Yeah, I want to say one. Definitely.
Had a couple of chances, 2 behinds.
I'll tell you what, it better be good too.
Peter Wright moves it up to half forward. We'll have a ball up in that area, favouring Essendon. Gresham, handball to McGrath, and now Dersma. So a few of the experienced players combining. Dersma's snap just goes inside 50, punched away nicely by Melican, and then the don't argue by Chad Warner on the wing. Looks for Buller, one bounce in front of him, controlled it nicely, outside of the boot, soccer style, tries to keep it in for Jordan, but Archer May takes the ball over rugby union style, something we'll see between the Wallabies and British and Irish Lions tonight. He's won a free kick for his trouble, Archer May, so just in front of the interchange gates, he'll take his kick. Swans leading by 19 points.
May loads up, high ball to the pocket, had to a 3-on-2, crashing in there. Kako waiting for it as well. Goulden hose it beyond defensive 50. Warner marks in front of the old grandstands at right half back, not far away from Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, 18 minutes gone, still no involvement from me, which is a good thing partly because there have been no injury or those kinds of updates to report. So the tactical sub manoeuvring could be in play soon. It's Oscar Smart for the Bombers and Caden Cleary, the Swans.
Lloyd away in space here for the Swans. Gets a hand pass away to Tolley. Has to retrieve it now, 45 from goal. Sends on here towards McInerney. Can he reach for it with the boot? No, he's under some pressure there from Redmond. Free kick going the way of McInerney. He was tripped. So free kick for the Swans in the right forward pocket. He's no more than 20 metres out.
The player you mentioned before, and it's interesting. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. Sato, is Dylan Shield. What, like, for
Yeah, you probably want a better output.
Since he's been to Essendon after from the Giants and he was highly touted, what is he actually? What's his output have been to be able to sort of be a leader and a top player in this young Essendon team?
Meanwhile, here's Justin McInerney on the set shot. Cute angle, but he pops it through for his second goal of the afternoon to extend the Swans' lead back out to 25 points. They're 8-10-58. Essendon 4-9-33 as we approach time on here in the third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, I mean, he's had his injuries down there at Essendon as well, which probably doesn't help, but from a senior player, you probably do want a greater, more consistent output. He's always been an outside sort of possession getter type run player. But I mean, on a day like today, he's had the 7 touches. His efficiency's only 17%. You do want a bit more when you've got such a young team out there and young players. You need your senior and your experienced players to step up and show the way.
Because if you look at their midfield, they lack that inside, probably big body inside mid, don't they? Does he have some currency to put out in the market to try and get? Because their mid seem all to be the same in that outside type possession. They just lack a bit of grunt in there. Now, do they look at someone with? Does he have some currency to be able to maybe attract and go after a sort of a midfielder like that?
Swans lead by 25 points. He's struggled to make an impact at Essendon this season. He's given away a free kick now, Dylan Shield. He and Gresham were 2 experienced players they thought might elevate them up a level. That hasn't been the case, as Cunningham is run down strongly by Xavier Dersma. Not holding the ball according to the umpire in the middle of the SCG. We'll have another ball up.
There was some aggression. Dersma, great tackle.
Swans up by 25. Goldstein and Grundy wrestling away. Happily tries to slap it forward. Picked up by Dersma. And the player is hurt down there in Papley. He went to slap the ball forward and he
took out
someone's leg.
Yeah, free kick's coming back to Dylan Shield.
He's come off worse for wear, has Papley. He seems okay now. Shield will take the free kick just inside the centre square.
Had his legs taken out in the contest as he was picking the ball up, Shield.
Shield's in no hurry to go and retrieve the football. Of course, as you say, he called Sydney home for 8 years at GWS. He'll give here off to the man bursting by Jackson Pryor. Deep to full forward, off hands and through for a minor score. So Essendon 4-10-34. Trail the Swans to 8-10-58. 22 going, third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. It's back with Callum Mills on the kick out.
The Swans skipper goes down the corridor looking for Grundy. Well done, Oliverti. Won that contest, took the mark. And he can get the Bombers going back into attack again. Hands it off to Roberts. He kicks long. Perkins is there off his hands. Had a good look at that. The Wild trying to do the roving. Mills gathers it to Sydney. Got it to Lloyd. Cunningham tries to clear the area. Shield couldn't take the mark. It was a good opportunity for him. Well done by Sheldrick to soccer that away. Bullock gathered it. Still at centre half back for Sydney. Eventually clean hands come from Lloyd. And now Mills pokes it over the top to Grundy. Swans get moving. Grundy to Campbell on that left boot. An open 50. Papley. Good body work on Nguyen. And get a fresh air. Trying to soccer it right next to the boundary line.
Trying to put the cross in.
He taught the youngster a bit of a lesson in terms of body work, but couldn't quite cap it off. Tom Papley will have a boundary throw in right forward pocket.
I love that every opposition player now just goes up to him and tries to give it to him. It's great.
You get what you give.
Totally. Exactly right.
Swans by 24. Back in it comes here. Grundy got a big there from Todd Goldstein. Meanwhile, Jordan through traffic. Hand pass off here. Pryor is there for Essendon, brought to ground. Meanwhile, around the grounds at Carrara, we're talking about 1 goal through 3 quarters for Richmond. 1 goal, 8-14. Trail the Suns to 11-9-75. Margin 61 there. The Suns control things at home in the other twilight fixture. And the stoppage here. Papley knocks it back in space. Nguyen, the debutant. Handball out Not in particular. Redmond's there for the Swans, dispossessed. Gresham onto it first here, and under all that, the umpire will say give it to me for a ball up. 30 out from the Swans attacking goal. Randwick and home side leads here by 24 points. 23 gone third term.
Grundy and Goldstein wrestling. Grundy is front position, and that's surely a high tackle on Gresham. That is paid to the Bombers veteran inside defensive 50. And number 174 for Jade Gresham, the former Saint. He goes short to Dersma, that's not 15, so gives it back to Gresham. That kick is not convincing, bounces once in front of Goldstein, got it to Redmond. Campbell applies some pressure. Redmond gets the kick away to centre half forward. The jump came from Archer May, didn't quite time it well. Rampy gathers. Got it to Chad Warner, back edge of the square, and now Errol Goulden in his 100th game sends it up to half forward, and Grundy is marked.
Grundy takes the mark and now plays on from that halfway point of the wing, goes inside 50, and Sheldrick comes across to mark on the paint of 50. Call to play on now. Spots a few targets. Buller had it spoiled away from him. Clark in defence now for the Bombers. Back to Laverty. On to Lual. On the right back pocket he goes. Swans by 24 points. Lual's kick beyond defensive 50 is intercepted by Rampy on the flank.
Swans veteran, former All-Australian and Bob Skilton medalist, Dane Rampy. Long ball into attack. The leap is from Laddams, off his hands. Here's Detoli. His advantage paid. He missed it anyway. But the free kick will go back to Laddams after Detoli missed. The umpire said that's not advantage.
Well, he had a shot on goal.
In fact, it's Buller. He did have the shot on goal, but perhaps the umpire felt the free kick is warranted to Sydney. So Buller will take the shot from 30 out directly in front, looking for his second of the game.
It's once again a key forward. If you get front spot in the contest and you're protecting that drop zone, it makes it hard for the defender. They're generally going to scrap a bit harder or try and throw you off the ball. That's what happened in that instance. Buller was ready to get free and come forward at the footy, but he just got held down and ripped apart.
So big Jack Buller, you can see him growing with confidence all the time. He's kicked one from the boundary in this game already. This is straight in front, 30 out. And he's missed this one. He kicked one of the hardest efforts imaginable from a left forward pocket. He's missed that from 30 out directly in front. Let's go down to Phil Price. Swans up by 25 points.
Yeah, both teams' subs are warming up. They're in kit now. Caden Cleary and Oscar Smart. Their inclusions are imminent. Just waiting to see who they're going to replace.
Yeah, I reckon McMahon might have come off here for Essendon, so he might be the one who's been subbed out, and Oscar Smart is out there. So it's happened pretty quickly. Pryor works it back by hand to Redmond in the right back pocket. Just thumps it toward the outer side. There is Oscar Smart. Floats across there in the pack on the outer wing. Goulden, though, wins the football to Patley. Hand pass over his shoulder there. It was slick to Mills, and now Rampy on hands and knees, back to Errol, works the hand pass forward. Pryor playing in front of Buller, had the best look at things, all over around the football in the end. Buller's hand pass out in space. Ewan slides in now for the Bombers. Desperate stuff from Durham, did well, but he's going to say he took out the legs of a Swans player in there, so it's a free kick. Papley at left half forward, high inside 50. Heaney leads into the pocket and takes the overhead grab. So the Swans make the best of that, and Isaac Heaney line up here for his second goal, deep in the left forward pocket.
I don't have the exact numbers, but Isaac Heaney, I used to take about 5 inside 50 marks, and all of them, I reckon, without anyone getting an arm or any body on him.
Opens up the angle here on the snap, and he misses near side. It has not been the most inspiring evening of goal kicking. 8-12-60 the Swans. Essendon 4-10-34 as we approach that quarter time. Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yes, Smart comes in for Liam McMahon for Essendon. That is a tactical sub.
Swans up by 26. Haven't kicked well in front of goal, especially in this quarter. Grundy gets a hand on the football just inside the boundary line, gave it to Mills, and he took it over right next to the Swans bench. Sydney 8-12-60, Essendon 4-10-34.
Who do you take out for the Swans, Ron O'Keefe? You're going to bring Caden Cleary on.
Is that a loaded question?
Oh, I'm just... If they make a tactical sub, who do you reckon's the one's going to come off?
Oh, I'd be taking off Bladdams.
As Goldstein is uncontested here in the ruck against Grundy. Well, Grundy came in late, so it was uncontested and then contested. Out of bounds for a throw-in.
28 minutes gone in the third term. Daniel Garr, Brett Sprigg, Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe, Swans great Jason Saddington with the call for you, wherever you're listening around the country. Essendon just hanging in there with a fair bit of work to do as Jordan is wrestled to the ground by the Swans debutant and Jaden Nguyen, who has been more than lively, tasked with matching up on Tom Papley this afternoon and can hold his head up high based on his performance so far. Here's McGrath. Handball inboard to Gresham. Kept it out in front of himself. Here is Nguyen. Got his head over the football. Took it cleanly and won a free kick for his troubles. Well done, young man. Certainly courageous. Doesn't shirk a contest, Jaden Nguyen.
Likes to compete.
His family have made the trip to Sydney to watch his first game in AFL football. He is not disappointing. Kicks to half forward. Contest there. Gathered by Durham, has been the Bombers' best. He went back to Jackson Pryor into attack off the hands of Peter Wright. Strong tackle down there by Errol Goulden, and Archer May will have a ball up in attack for the Bombers.
Swans by 26 as we approach the half-hour mark of this third quarter on ABC Sport. Saturday twilight footy out of the right. Grundy turns it back to McCartan, and now Rampy bursting by. Kicks for distance at the outer side. Blackiston in the contest there. Heaney and also onto it Laverty, wrapped up by Rowbottom. We'll throw it up on the outer side. Approaching three-quarter time here. A game that's reached no real great heights. Sydney controlling things. Some wayward kicking from both sides as Grundy feeds the tap down to Heaney. Might be time for one more here for the Sydney Swans as Buller marks forward to the wing. There is a three-quarter time siren here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Swans 8-12-60, Essendon 4-10-34. Justin McInerney is the Swans' only multiple goal kicker in the game so far, along with singles to Rowbottom, Campbell, Heaney, Buller, Goulden and Papley. Still no Tatoli. Hopefully it happens in the last quarter. Singles to Clark, May, Perkins and Guelphy for the Bombers. And in that third term it was 2 goals for Essendon to Sydney's 2 goals 3. So therein lies my point around the somewhat lacklustre rate of scoring in this game so far. Albeit this is on ABC Radio, News Radio and the ABC Listen app. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
The new neighbour.
I'm Isabel.
Who's not what she seems.
Somebody here knows something. You'd be amazed the things you learn about a place if you pay attention.
The Family Next Door starts Sunday, August 10 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Kako onto it now. He can snap. Goes right across the face of goal. In the other pocket, Rampy competes in the air, and it will be a free kick. So the other way the free kick from Angus Clark did Dane Rampy. Clark, one of the nine players out there tonight that's debuted this year. He was the rising star on his first game, round 11. He slots the set shot here. Essendon's first goal since early in the first term.
What a kick by Goulden. Got it back from McInerney. Spotted up Rampy in the middle of the ground. The laser-like effort. Now James Jordan runs onto it. Pokes it towards Heaney. He takes the mark fully outstretched. 30 out directly in front. Usually makes the most of these. Does so again. This time around, the Swans strike back.
Puts Essendon back inside attacking 50. At the back, McCartan takes him and set marking her away.
And plays on. McCartan kicks for space. The wing, but there's a free kick in the way of Essendon. So that McCartan mark not paid. The Bombers will have a shot from 30 out directly in front. It will go the way of Archer May. He makes the most of it as well with a goal. Bombers are only 19 points behind. Archer May has the 7th goal of his AFL career.
Sends on here towards McInerney. Can he reach for it with the boot? No, he's under some pressure there from Redmond. Free kick going the way of McInerney. He was tripped. So free kick for the Swans in the right forward pocket, and he's no more than 20 metres out. Weird angle, but he pops it through for his second goal of the afternoon.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sydney by 26 points here at the Sydney Cricket Ground in that third term. Brad Scott made his tactical sub. Liam McMahon out. Oscar Smart on. But the Swans control things here for the time being. 8-12 to 4-10 at the final change. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb. Our boundary is Phil Pryor. And our experts here on ABC Sport are Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
Well, the Bombers had a little rush there at the start of the quarter with a couple of goals early, which put a bit of spark into the game. But again, from probably about 10 minutes in, the Swans controlled the footy, didn't they?
Yeah.
Pebs, the Bombers struggled to get out of the back half once again. They were going sideways, backwards, and couldn't find a way through, whereas the Swans just in control of the game. Let themselves down in terms of being able to hit the scoreboard. Probably should be further ahead with the opportunities they've created. But, I mean, in terms of, them being able to control the game, you have a look at the marks statistic. The Swans have had 95 marks to Essendon's 34. So they're able to just chip their way and find their way through. And out of that, 16 marks inside 50. And we've seen Heaney's probably had 4 or 5 of those, which is just allowing the Swans to get those extra shots on goal and dominate this game of football.
Yeah, look, exactly to your point, Sado, is the Swans should be a lot further ahead. They've clearly dominated this game. Again, it hasn't hurt them this game, but their goal kicking, particularly set shots, has been quite poor, and it's affected them this year. And there's been probably a few games that's actually cost them. So when they look back at their season, I'd have to put down their goal kicking has been one thing they really need a huge area of improvement. Just to be able to make the most of the opportunities, they generate enough opportunities, but to actually just keep the scoreboard pressure and keep that ticking along and hitting those ones that are, Buller straight in front, Rowbottom's missed a couple straight in front, just those ones you need to go back, finish off the good work, goes back to the centre bounce, and you just keep putting that scoreboard pressure on opposition.
Yeah, I mean, they should be that couple more goals up, and which probably puts the game to bed. I mean, scoreboard-wise, Essendon's still potentially in it. What are we at, 26 points? That's easily gettable, isn't it, Spriggy? But the way the game's been played, we just can't see Essendon being able to generate the ball movement to do that.
By the way, quickly at Carrara, where Gold Coast leads Richmond by 62 points early in the final term there. There was an incident involving the umpire and the rucks, Nankervis and Witts. There was a centre bounce where Nankervis, the umpire sort of gets in the way, Nankervis pushes him in the back, and then Witts lands on top of him. So this will be looked at as far as an incident in the third term at Carrara, as far as umpire contact crackdowns, and whether there is, these things can be accidental, and it certainly was accidental, but whether anything comes of that for those two big men.
Phil Pryor, some movement in terms of the Swan sub?
Yeah, just as Ryan O'Keefe expected, Pete Laddams officially subbed out. Caden Cleary comes in for the Swans. That is tactical.
Sometimes you're the sub in, sometimes you're the sub out, Peter Adams. So there you go. Mr. Versatile is early shower for him. Caden Cleary into the game here as the Swans lead by 26. Final term underway. McInerney scrapping for it now as McGrath wins the clearance now for Essendon. High ball inside, forward 50, 2-on-2, right up in front. It's at ground level here. Kako gives a nudge there on Goulden. Now kicks in space. Grundy showed his teammate Warner out of the way here as Bombers go back on the overlap. Melican goes to retrieve it. Kako lurking. Jordan Good Shepherd, Blakey, Wicks, and now Grundy. They're away here.
Handball to Warner. They keep moving off half-back. Warner gets it back. Has Goulden in support in game 100. Possession number 26 for him. A long ball inside 50. Off hands. Rowbottom to Papley. Papley into the square. Cleary, no, he's missed it. How's he done that? Oh, just on the ground, the sub. He has fresh aired it from a metre out.
Wow.
Any three of the Swans could have kicked that. Rowbottom could have. He gave it to Papley. Papley could have. He gave it to Cleary. Cleary missed the football.
Goodness,
that is the craziest miss of this season.
Archie Roberts from left half back links up with Gresham by foot. As I say, 27 points. I mean, the Swans are in control here, but this has not been an inspiring game from either side, really. Melican wins it away from Gresham. Now tackled, kicks towards half forward. Rowbottom with a contested grab. He has paid the mark in the contest with Newen.
He was lucky to get away with that. That was definitely hands in the back.
Yep. Rowbottom wide to Heaney. Little juggle grab in the pocket. And he obliges 35 out in the angle.
I'm still speechless from Cleary. Fresh air.
And Tom Papley loves the goal more than anyone. He could have kicked it himself. He'd be filthy.
Yeah. I bet you he wouldn't do it next time. He'd kick it himself. So Heaney, another mark inside 50. Wow.
24th disposal coming up here. Left foot snap from the pocket, right across the face. And guess what? Out of bounds on the full. What's that, 15 tonight for either side? Margin still 27 points the Swans' way, early stages, final term.
Yeah, it's definitely not been a goal-kicking display of the ages, really.
And we had rain for about, 3.5 minutes or something?
Yeah, you can't blame the rain. It's just been poor kicking.
Good mark by Blakey on the wing. He's been really good down back for Sydney. Possession number 21 coming up for him.
Yeah, if you blame the rain, you would be taking so many marks inside 50, so you can't blame that.
Blakey has a couple of options short, decides to go long into attack. Blackiston underneath, they could have marked it, chose to punch, didn't get any purchase on it. It's spilled to Braden Campbell. He slides it through under no pressure whatsoever for his second. That's an error from Blackiston down back for the Bombers. Should have taken the mark. The punch, well, it slid off his knuckles really, and Campbell was all alone to make up for the Cleary miss that was inexplicable a couple of minutes earlier. Swans now out to a 33-point lead.
It's not the spoil that was poorly executed. It's the fact that Braden Campbell was all alone at the back of the goal square, and there's 5 Essendon players all just standing around looking at the ball. Like, what? Like, that's just basic defending, particularly like on a small forward. Like, the way the game is defended by us at the moment is just staggering.
You just can't take anything for granted, can't you? No. You've just got to play the percentages. So, yes, Blackiston potentially should have marked the footy, but, I mean, still, you just got to cover all bases and you just don't let your player get free out the back.
33 points, a new game-high lead as McGrath wins the clearance now for the Bombers. It's plucked away by Blakey. Intercepting at centre-half back and now goes quickly the members' side. Jordan, shut in mid-air by McGrath, and then run down from behind was called quick by Shield. I does call it quick. Free kick Essendon. Shield's tackle awarded. Here comes in board upon his skipper Merritt. He kicks long inside forward 50. Out of the pack. Grundy with a spoil. Blakey dispossessed. And down there by Oscar Smart. Hobbs lurking forward as well. McCartan gathers off to Grundy. Fires it back to Rampy. The Swans can clear.
Rampy's kick will be marked by Merritt though, just outside 50. The Bombers captain, possession number 14 coming up for him. Wants to play on. Umpire says get back on your mark. Not sure he's got the distance from here, Zach Merritt. He's been quiet today. It's the 14th disposal for him coming up.
Has he been followed by Jordan or somebody? Or
he hasn't. No. I said their midfielders are all the same. There's no one in there that's going to crack in and actually have to win their own ball. I like all that.
Gives it off to Redman, who winds up from a long way out. And it's through. Wonderful finish, Mason Redman. Clever thinking from Zach Merritt. He didn't have the distance. Redman managed to get free. Not sure the Swans will be happy with their defensive acumen in that instance, because Redman should have been watched closely, and he makes the most of it on the run from outside 50, margin back to 27 points in favour of the Swans.
Well, they found a different avenue to goal. the dish off from outside 50, and Redman, he's kicked that a good 55, hasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he's had a decent game, Redman. He's the leading possession getter, up to 20 touches. Kicked that goal. He certainly can hold his head high.
He hasn't had the best season, Zach Merritt, by his standards. Been quiet. 5 PNFs, 3 All-Australians as a champion. One of their finest ever, but the chance for maybe a Sam Durham or someone else to win the Crichton medal this year, because Merritt hasn't quite been at his best.
6 minutes played, final term. Umpire balls it up. Grundy palms it down. Heaney is held by McGrath. Umpire will ball it up. I do wonder how we'll see the whole sort of ruck thing adjudicated with that incident Carrara, which you may see later on between Curvis, Witts and the umpire. Meanwhile, Campbell goes inside 50. Tully was waiting for it. Spoiled away. Blackiston out there, and now a run down Dersma by Florence. The umpire will ball it up. 9:13:67 plays 5:10:40. 7 gone final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Swans lead by 27 points. Grundy gets it to Heaney. Now back to Goulden. 55 out. Plenty of time. Errol Goulden winds up in game 100. It just bounces across the face. And it will be a boundary throw-in. Ball went over right next to the behind post. Left forward pocket for the Swans. So Goulden up to 27 possessions and a goal in his 100th game. He just wears you down, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. The longer the game goes, the more he gets. He had 13 at half time. He's already up to the 27 early in the last.
Stop is inside 50 here now for the Swans. Overrun by McInerney. A nudge in there from Gresham. Off the deck it comes back to Laverty from Dersmer, and now swept hand pass wide. Clark takes on Goulden, paddled toward the boundary line for a throw-in. By the way, Richmond 1 goal 11. That's in the final term. 9 minutes left. So they're looking at some of their worst ever score territory there, trailing by 72 points on the Gold Coast Suns, who are now 5th provisionally on the AFL ladder. Of course, with a game in hand, but a few of those other teams sort of play this weekend as well. One down here to the outside is Tatoli. Hand pass back to Cunningham for the Swans, and now Goulden finds Heaney. It's almost like it was just instinct. Didn't even see him there. Just got the hand pass away. Heaney's kick smothered though, out of bounds for a throw-in at right half forward for the Swans, who lead by 27 points here, 8 gone final term.
Well, hopefully Tatoli kicks a goal, because it's going to make something a bit exciting in this last quarter.
They're waiting with bated breath here. Hobbs run down from behind. Again, the umpire ball up.
As it stands, Richmond's score of 111-17 is their 4th lowest ever. Sorry, their 5th lowest ever in history. Bit of time to get that further down the pecking order, but they're in a good spot at the moment.
Percentage boost for the Gold Coast Suns as well, albeit they won't catch Geelong, who are their next neighbour there. But they do have the game in hand, so all that.
So 5th lowest, so they're not even near it.
5th lowest score ever. Yeah, well, they've been around for
100 and something years.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's only the 5th lowest at that.
The ball goes over the boundary line, left half forward for the Bombers. Still about 9 minutes left in that game. Swans up by 27 points.
No, I've got a bone to pick now. Look, the ABC network shows that game over our game. Would you say that game's better than our game? I don't know.
No, definitely not.
Not now, you can't.
Definitely not.
9 minutes gone in the last term here. There's McInerney. He's been really busy for the Swans. Sweeping handball to Sheldrick. He sends it over to Lloyd. Tries to break free of the prior tackle. Does so, but gives up possession anyway. Gresham just throws it on the bit for the Bombers. Into attack. Underneath it is McCartan. Takes a really good defensive mark, Tom McCartan. Swans fans want 50. Not paid. He'll play his 150th next week, Tom McCartan, away to Brisbane, as the Swans move it out wide to Lloyd.
Lloyd. Notice further down the line here, Cleary. So it's his first game since round 12. He was a sub in that game as well against the Crows. Comes inboard to find McInerney.
His first kick should have been his second.
Comes in there to find Angus Sheldrick.
Well, that game against the Crows didn't end well, so that's probably maybe scarred a few people.
He's inside 50 here, Sheldrick. He missed Laverty. Now Papley tries to get boot to ball. Out of bounds on the full as it came off his toe. Caden Cleary was sub in his first 3 games in his debut year last year. He played a total of 5 games. He's now played his 10th fixture this year in his second season, Caden Cleary.
Bit of right at left half back. Gives it to Durham. He sends it up the wing. Melican's front position on Oscar Smart, the sub. And he's taken the mark. Both subs now on the ground. Cleary, he missed the sitter of all sitters to start this term. And Oscar Smart. As Lloyd switches it to left half forward. Grab taken by that man in Cleary. He pokes it forward, barely the 15, in fact not 15 to Lloyd. He gets free, gives it to Sheldrick, throws it on the boot. Heaney diving, couldn't take the mark or get a hand on it, out of bounds on the full. Free kick to be taken by Essendon in the right back pocket. Sheldrick, 22 touches for him, signed a new 3-year contract this week and said he had no desires to go back to WA. He was only ever interested in staying at the Swans.
The on-defensive 50. One down here towards Grundy. Feeds it to McCartan. Through traffic now, Cleary. McInerney is felled in the tackle of Guelphy. Will ball it up. So Carrara, 4 goals for Ben King, 3 for Bailey Humphrey. Gold Coast lead by 84 points, and Richmond still has 111-17. Essendon work at forward of halfway. As Smart back to right, kicks in space. Kako back with the flight, beats Wicks to the football, held it to the pocket, follows up here. Kako runs into the open goal and thumps it through. A goal for Essendon. A goal to Isaac Kako, his 12th of this campaign. one of 9 faces out there tonight who's debuted this year. And he cuts the margin back to 21 points. It's 9-13-67. Essendon 6-10-46. 12 gone final term on ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
It was a good pickup by Smart, the sub. He's come in, clean hands, took the ground ball, about to feed it off and create that opportunity. So that's the advantage, which Essendon haven't done all night, is get it in there. Just get it, Serge. You've got some speed up there. Get it into space. Trying to play a high possession, dry weather footy, it's not going to work. So just get it in and it just shows you can kick goals when you get it into a bit of speed and space and get it over the top.
Here's where footy's a funny game. Essendon get the next one. It's actually a bit of spice in this game. It's game on again.
They're hanging around, just 21 points the margin. I mean, it's felt as if the game was...
More so the Swans just have wasted opportunity after opportunity, but here we are at 21 points.
Yep, they've looked very comfortable on the balance of play, but haven't put Essendon away. Now they've won the ball in the middle of the ground, and Wright's taken the mark. Hang on a second.
Yeah, kick the goal. Let's go.
Peter Wright will have a shot from just inside 50, 45-degree angle to the left to bring this back to a 3-goal game, and Dean Cox all of a sudden is looking a little bit nervous on the Swans bench.
A bit twitchy there, wasn't he, Coxie? He was...
Well, Peter Wright hasn't done anything all night, so he needs to start to do something. Like
his last set shot in the third quarter, he leant back on, so he's got to make sure he's got momentum through this kick.
Durham set it up. He's been the Bombers' best. Wright needs to convert. And he's faded it across the face. A let-off for the Swans. They probably deserve that based on the chances they've missed, but it's 20 points.
Come on,
favour of Sydney and Essendon. They've got a bit of momentum going now.
I wanted that. I wanted some spice.
Yeah, back to the gun, don't you?
Ready to get up and about, Spriggy.
Absolutely. Anything's possible after last week at Docklands. Desire Wanganeen Miller up. Blakey goes beyond defensive 50. Blackiston comes across and intercepts at half forward.
50.
And that could be So, that was Totoli, the youngster.
Really? Knocked the ball out of his hand.
So Blackiston now well within range. I think even he didn't quite realise he had to come the full 50 towards the top.
He's going about 10 metres. What was he thinking?
At least 10 metres. He's going to come here.
His last set shot after a 50 was...
He's no certainty this one either.
So...
Kick through it, son.
Lockie Blackiston to cut the margin back to 14 points. He steers it through.
Hey.
The Bombers are back. Their 7th goal of the night. 7-11-53, trails Sydney 9-13-67. A costly error made by Jesse Totoli on debut. As Blackiston was marched 50. Yeah, it was just enough contact there.
Oh, come on.
Oh, they cracked down on that. If the ball comes free from his hands, that's like rugby league. It's like his hands on the ball. See you later. So Blackiston's goal, by the way, he's first in AFL footy. It's his 7th game. Very important one for Essendon.
So big centre bounce. Grundy's straight back on into the middle. Like Goulden's on the bench, and I think Heaney just came off. So you probably want to get your key playmakers back out here just to steady the ship, I would have thought.
Durham on the bench, though, for the Bombers. He's been instrumental for them. Just 14 points the margin. Hard to believe. With a nervous feeling around the SCG at the moment, and Merritt has won it for Essendon, but he's turned it straight over.
Why when you kick
long and deep?
It was get it in there.
Scrappy kick, and Grundy marked it. He's moved it out wide to Totoli, who gave away the 50 for the Blackiston goal on debut a moment ago. That's Totoli on debut.
I'm with you, Pebbles. Merritt, just get it long and deep. The momentum of the game, put the Swans under pressure.
Play it in your forward 50.
Totoli short to Lloyd. The Swans need a settler badly. The ball's inside their attacking 50. Papley shrewdly smacked it back to Grundy. Warner under pressure, managed to get the kick away, but not very far. Bombers defence stands up. McGrath.
Nothing ahead of the ball.
Back to Laverty, and the kick is loose, and Rampy has marked it in the middle of the ground for the Swans.
If the script's written correctly, Totoli has to score the goal, doesn't he? And just sort of undo the mistake and maybe ice the game for Sydney. Comes wide to Blakey. Sends it high inside forward 50. Pack forms out the drop. Boboltham can scoot towards goal here. It's come off hands. Shildrick breaks a tackle. He was slung by Laverty. Back to Cleary in the pocket. Gets around one. Fires it back to Papley. All the way out towards Campbell. He can look to centre it now. Top of the square or in the right forward pocket. Totoli reaching for it, but a couple of Bombers get across there. And the mark is taken at full back, this time by Archie Roberts. Swans by 14 points.
Essendon got to get forwards ahead of the ball. They're not going to win the game by playing all their players in their back half. Like, there's no point. Get it forward and go fast.
Well done by Blakey. Too strong for Kako. Marked it forward of the wing. Plenty of time left for Essendon. 17 minutes gone in the last. But Blakey will send it back into attack for the Swans. Off hands. Looking for it is Cleary. Hobbs is the man tackled by Cleary. We'll have a ball up in attack on the 45-degree angle inside 50 for Sydney. They're 9-13-67. The Bombers have looked out of it. But only 14 points behind, 7-11-53.
Down it comes. Cleary busts through the pack now. Hand pass back to Grundy. Now into Warner. Hand pass out in space. Campbell got some pressure from Kako. So too Cunningham. It's towed forward here by the Bombers. Out in some space. Merritt the half forward. He beats Wicks the football. Fires on goal from 55. And it's all the way there. No. Wrong side of the post. Minus score from Essendon's skipper. Margin 13 points. 67 plays, 54. The Swans go quickly from the kick out.
They've moved Merritt forward, trying to win the game. Fair play, Essendon. That was a big opportunity for the Bombers captain.
But they need more forwards ahead of the ball, and you can capitalise on those opportunities.
Swans leading by just 13 points. Off the hands of Buller. Boundary throw in on the wing outer side. Down to Phil Pryor on this boundary.
After the Swans scored 8 goals, 15 against the Bombers back in round 9, it's now a combined 17 goals, 28 behinds against Essendon this year.
Bad kicking has certainly played its part in this margin, being just 13 points in favour of the Swans. Can the Bombers snatch this? Hobbs snaps it, picked off by Campbell in the middle of the ground. Well done to spin free. Got it to Sheldrick. Looks for the one-on-one in attack. That's Buller. Blackiston did well. Buller brought it to ground. Picked up by Grundy. Looks for Papley. Nguyen right there with him. He has been all day. Papley tackles him over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in right forward pocket for Sydney. The debutant, Nguyen, has not let Papley out of his sights.
Crowd, by the way, 20,805. I'll have to look through the record books. I dare say it's going to be their lowest home crowd since probably COVID days. I mean, it's been a fair while since we've seen a crowd number that low at the SCG. One to the outside here, McGrath for Essendon. A little while uncontested. He's back here to Clark. Fires it through traffic. Dersma. Blackiston looks for a way beyond defensive 50. Kicks to the outer side. Warner comes across in the contest there against Archer May. Hot footy on the wing now as Hobbs goes in hard, competes with Rampy. Sliding out to meet the football now. Warner puts it on the boot. It goes out of bounds on the full. Essendon ball from left half back. They trail by 13 points. We've played now 19 and a half minutes in the final term here at the SCG.
Still plenty of time. Definitely plenty of time for this game to swing either way.
Grundy 33 disposals, 28 for Goulden. Durham 21 leads the way for the Bombers. More importantly, they're well and truly in this game. Here's McGrath. Handball inside to Roberts. Good pick up on the wing from the Essendon youngster. Kicks to half forward. 3-on-1 in favour of Essendon. Melican did well to stand up alongside Archer May in that contest. Merritt was roving. Guided over the boundary line did Melican, but it's a throw in left half forward for the Bombers. Swans up by just 13.
But that's what they got to do, Essendon. Not muck around with it. Get it forward. Play the game in their front half. Give themselves an opportunity to score.
Just hit time on here in the final term. Back in it comes. Running to the outside. McGrath there first for Essendon. Roberts explodes away here. On the left boot, inside forward 50. Blakey intercept mark. Has it at fullback here for Sydney. Just quickly, meanwhile, at Carrara, the Tigers have kicked their second goal, so they're 2-11-23. They trail by 78 points there on Gold Coast, seconds away from full time, so a big win for the Suns. The Swans lead here by 13 points. Kick up the line, finds Mills. And the skipper just takes some time off the clock.
Mills will go out wide now. Has a man free in Warner. Chad Warner with possession number 23. Will kick from right half back. Swans all of a sudden nervy. Just 13 points ahead, and that's a turnover. Straight to Roberts, who didn't take the mark, juggled it over the boundary line. He's been really good for Essendon as well, especially in this final term. 18 disposals to his name. Rebounded well off half back. Should have taken that grab. He could have sent it back in, attacking 50. We'll have a throw in outer side on the wing.
A side that led by 35 points in the derby last week, coughed up that lead, led by 33 points early in the final term here, Sydney. Can they regain some momentum in the game? Grundy's hand pass chopped off. Jordan with Sheelan on the back of him. And the umpire says, give it to me on the outer side. 22 gone, final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Sprague, Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington, Phil Pryor with you in these closing stages. Grundy hit out. Goulden coughs it up here. Left behind there for McGrath. Essendon go inside forward 50. Up there in the contest, Perkins wins the ground level here as Cunningham is tackled. The umpire will come back here. It's a Sydney free kick. Player tackled out the ball, Mills. Free kick for the Swan skipper.
Mills switches it. Rampy gathers it. He moves it on to a spare man in Campbell. And now Cleary. Marked it just behind the wing. Cleary short to Rampy. Keeping possession of the Swans, but they probably need another goal, to be honest, to really make themselves feel comfortable. A turnover anywhere here at half-back, and they're in some danger. Mills kicks to half-forward. Over the head of Buller. We'll have a boundary throw-in on the paints of 50 and the boundary line left half-forward for the Swans. Brodie Grundy, 34 disposals, 27 hitouts, another big game from him, 8 score involvements.
If he's not the All-Australian ruckman, I think that's...
Well, Max Gawn will be. He
He
might be second. Gawn's season's been pretty special.
Toss back in.
Wow.
Grundy feeds Cleary. And McInerney is run down by Gresham. The umpire ball up, 40 from goal.
It's almost like that magnet's already put there and no one else should try. Like, Grundy's season has been unbelievable.
Up it goes, Grundy. The hit out for him. Down to McInerney, who's taken by Hobbs. And again, we'll throw it in the air. 13 points is the Swans lead here. 23 and a half played final term. The SCG on ABC Sport.
Grundy and Wright. Wright wins it down. Papley's there. Dragged it in. Nguyen right there with him. That should be holding the ball against Papley potentially. Not given. Fair shout for that for the Bombers. Papley did drag it in under himself, but...
Normally when the umpire takes a long time to call the ball up, it's generally holding the ball.
Throw it up. McGrath clears the area for Essendon. Can they take a mark and work it forward? Off the chest of Durham. Here they go, the Bombers. Gresham, the handball to Kako. Swans up by just 13 points. Good pressure by Campbell. But Kako breaks free of the tackle and kicks into attack. Lual's there. Merritt gathers it. Has the shot on goal. Picked up now by Clark. Free kick going the way of the Swans. Well, Merritt's kick bounced off the shins of a Swans player. That was their chance. The free kick goes to Lloyd. Sydney maintain their 13-point lead.
Still about 5 minutes of game time left. Essendon need 2 goals and change. Lloyd has possession here for the Sydney Swans. Beyond defensive 50 he goes. Buller spills it down in the path of Laverty. Shares it by handoff to Archie Roberts. Breaks a tackle. Back here again at Dursma. Back to McGrath. Has been good in this second half in particular. Goes high inside forward 50 to the pocket. McCartan reaching there. Options there in attack for Essendon. Guelphy as well, but Mills beats him to the football. Back to McCartan. The Swans can clear again. No mark taken though. Heaney got it from Buller. His hit was smothered, but Laverty gets onto it here, but Warner tackles him. Umpire says give it to me at left half forward for Essendon, who trail by 13. 25 gone, final term.
It's just such hard work for the Bombers, isn't it? Every time they go inside 50, they just don't look dangerous enough. It's very tough work for them.
Grundy with class just plucked it out of the air, got it to McInerney, and the kick to Buller is excellent. He's marked it at half forward. Grundy again, superb. Literally took matters into his own hands. Pulled it out of the air. Got it down to McInerney, and the Swans were able to clear some trouble. Up by 13 points. They go inside 50, the home side. Cleary's there. Gathers the football, and it's spilled free. Warner throws it on the boot. A snap towards goal is across the face. And it hit the behind post, so we'll have a throw in the left forward pocket for Sydney, and they can just close the ground down and squeeze the Bombers in. They're up by 13 points. Time now starting to get against Essendon.
It was probably the best result for the Swans. Yeah. Boundary throw-in as opposed to giving Essendon the ball back for a kick-in.
By tosses it back in. Golstead and Grundy had to go at each other. Both rucks missed it. Lloyd brought the ground by Lual. But totally off the ground, by the way, on the bench. It's disappointing. In these final minutes here at the SCG. Swans by 13. Up it goes again. Grundy follows up at ground level. Shares it to Florent. In a 2-on-1. Grundy's kick was smothered by Dersma. Receives a hand pass back. Dersma kicks. Worked okay for Peter Wright. Hand pass back here. And the Bombers go from right half back. Blakey in the contest gets the better of Kako. And the Swans, by weight of possession, might just hang on here.
Blakey's been brilliant. Goes short to Cunningham.
The Swans defenders in general have marked a lot of footy against their Essendon's opponents.
Cunningham to left half forward. He's found Chad Warner. Swans up by 13 points as Warner guides us into attack. And Papley has taken the mark out in front of Newen, who's done a sterling job, the debutant, on the Swans superstar. And he might be getting away from Essendon now, but Papley has the chance to ice the game with what would be his 300th goal if he can kick this. He's a long way out on a very tight angle. 300th goal in his career, of course.
He certainly used his full 30 seconds.
Smartly uses up all his time. This would be a big individual moment to win the game for Sydney. Tom Papley won't threaten the goals, and Grundy should have taken the mark. They're free there for a moment. The Bombers rush it behind. The margin is 14 points in favour of Sydney. 28 minutes gone in the final term.
And the kick out, Roberts. Short kick, McGrath, and now Durham's been busy today. It's now 22 disposals for Sam Durham. Breaking left foot kick down the members' side of the SCG. 2-on-2. Peter Wright is dealt with by McCartan. Rampy on the loose footy. Fires it back here. McInerney now wide to Blakey at left half back. He just kicks up in the air. Warner under it with two Bombers. Works underneath it now as McGrath follows up. Just another high up and under kick towards half forward this time for Essendon. And Rowbottom takes the mark now for the Swans. 28 and a half played. Sydney leads by 14 points.
Rowbottom chips it to Mills. And the Swans can just keep possession and ice this game. Out wide they go to Goulden. And now Jordan. Just behind the wing. No need for them to try and give up possession here, Sydney. Jordan will kick it towards half forward. Heaney will fly, make a contest opposed to Goldstein and take it over the boundary line. Sydney 9-14-68, Essendon 7-12-54. It's been a massive scare for the Swans in the final term, but they will run out winners in Errol Goulden's 100th game.
Well, spread their ledger at 10 wins and 10 losses. So as we mentioned, can have a winning record still. Won't play in September action. It might just be something for Dean Cox to hang his hat on after his first year in charge as Goulden runs this ball out of bounds for a throw-in. So can still finish with 13 wins, conceivably, albeit a couple of tough games to come. It's Brisbane and Geelong next in consecutive weeks for the Swans. So we approach the half-hour mark here. Grundy up in front. Hand pass out here to Heaney, back to McInerney. Now Goulden, the milestone man, gets forward to the ball now. Kicks inside forward 50. Warner leaps, got a spoil from Laverty. It's over for a throw-in at right full forward for the Swans.
Well, they've just done enough, haven't they, Sydney? I mean, the game should have been gone before we even got to this point, but Essendon giving us a little bit of entertainment. Nice little scare on the Swans just to keep things interesting through this last quarter.
Well, they'll take something from it, the Bombers. Decimated by injuries. Lots of youngsters in the team. They've been gallant at the SCG in what will be defeat, though. Here's Roberts. Really liked his game. Isn't he one of the more impressive youngsters? Good tackle by McGrath as well, who's fought hard all day on Warner. Noel gathers it, keeps it in. So left half back for the Bombers. Grubber kick along the boundary. Picked up nicely by Archer May. He kicks to centre half forward off the hands of Guelphy. Kako gathers. He'll move it out wide. There first, though, is Blakey. He's been brilliant for the Swans. And then Rowbottom is driven into the ground. Campbell keeps it out in front of him. They scrap away on a wet day here at the SCG. Eventually, Dersma picks it up. And a couple of Swans wrap up Roberts. We'll have a ball up at right half forward for Essendon. Swans up by 14 points. They won't play finals. But they'll gain 4 more points in the run into the end of season 2025. Small crowd, poor weather, but the Swans get up over the Bombers.
victory. 11 points was their quarter-time lead. Sydney, 27 points at the half-time break, 26 at three-quarter time, led by 33 after the first goal of the final term, but Essendon clawed back, kicked 3 in a row at that stage, as well as a few behinds to whittle away that margin. They had hope, didn't quite have the execution down the stretch did Brad Scott's men, so now a 9th straight loss for them. Sydney win here by 14 points.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
For the Sydney Swans, Braden Campbell and Justin McInerney each had a couple of goals. Singles to Rowbottom, Heaney, Buller, Goulden and Patley, who fell just one short of his career 300. We'll have that opportunity against Brisbane at the Gabba next week. Meanwhile, for Essendon, all singles to Clark, May, Perkins, Kako. We saw Blackiston's first goal in AFL footy, an important one, and closed that gap to 13 points. Redmond and Guelphy also on the board here as Sydney prevails in a game. I want to say it wasn't quite marred by weather, but it was just not a game of great heights from a skill level point of view. The Swans, as Daniel Garb mentioned, do get 4 points. They're 10 wins and 10 losses. Essendon now 6 and 13 on the year, with a date against Geelong Pinya Park on Friday night next week. Let's get the thoughts of our experts here on ABC Sport. Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe, one of his former teammates, former Sydney Swan and Carlton Blue, Jason Saddington.
You touched on it, Saturday. I think the Swans did what they had to do. My big thing for the Swans is they really need to work on their goal kicking, and like they get enough generation of inside 50s. They take their marks. They take a lot of marks inside 50 as well. So that's not the issue of the supply down there. It's actually just capitalising on the good work. Like I think, what's the stat? They've kicked 28 or 29 behinds in the last 2 games of Essendon. Like that's not going to be able to win big games or those tight games when opportunities aren't as much. So that's all I'd be saying about the Swans. They really need to work on that, finishing off all the good work that they do. But Essendon, I know they're a young side and they've had a lot of injuries and everything like that. But it's more the style, the way they play. They conceded by just camping numbers in the back. They won enough ball, but they just had no targets or nothing up forward to actually provide any sort of fight. So just the way they go, their style, the way they go about it, I just can't see how that's going to teach the young players to be able to fight and be able to push and try and get some wins. And I know they play a lot of football at Marvel, and it's a high uncontested brand of footy down there. But I think they need to show a bit more of that contested, a bit more gritty in defence to be able to sort of complement some of the good young players they have.
Yeah, the Bombers definitely struggled to get their way through that half forward line, and I mean it was Capel with players like Nick Blakey had a field day just being able to not just intercept mark but win plenty of footy and drive the Swans forward again. McCartan had quite a few intercept marks. Rampy got plenty of the footy certainly as the game wore on, so they did have the extra number down there, like you said, Pebs. Essendon probably stacked the back half a little bit more and really struggled to find a way through. So that's the go forward for the Bombers to, that ball movement, try and find a way to get the ball in that front 50 a bit more often and with a bit more ease. But for the Swans, they had plenty of footy in the front half. They didn't finish their work. It wasn't just the goals they missed us. Probably the opportunities they wasted as well as a few out in the fulls. We saw clear in the last quarter with the fresh air from the goal square. But they had plenty of the footy. They dominated the game. They had much more opportunity and they got the win and probably should have won by a little bit more. And I mean, it was great from an entertainment point of view for 5 minutes that Essendon got themselves back into, maybe a spot where they could have pinched it. I got excited by that because we hadn't seen a lot of excitement through the game. But they get the job done again. And it is interesting going forward for the Swans. What does their forward line look like? Certainly with the tools, we've seen Buller emerge a bit more through the back half of the year. They got McLean and Amadi out. Papley struggled he's missed a lot of footy, and it is really tough to come in when you've missed a lot of footy and find your best. So he's not his electric best, but it's been. They got the job done. They've got the win, and realistically, they did it comfortably.
So 14-point winners in the end, the Sydney Swans over Essendon. Thoughts there of Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe. Errol Goulden had a brief chat a short time ago to the Sophie Clappin in front of the home fans on the loudspeakers, and a few passionate fans have stuck around here because it was their lowest attendance for quite some time. A few numbers, Garby, just run through those for us.
Just the 39 touches for Brodie Grundy. I mean, he's having a remarkable season. 32 hit-outs, 9 score involvements, right up there in the votes again, you dare say. Errol had 30 possessions in his 100th game. Just does what he always does and just wears you down and runs hard all day and links up and has a big impact on the football game by the time all is said and done. Blakey had 28 touches, brilliant across half-back, 8 inside 50s, 8 marks, 7 score involvements as well. Heaney 28. McInerney had one of his better games, 27 touches and a couple of goals from him. The debutant, Jesse Detoli, 13 possessions, a couple of behind, so he had chances to kick his first AFL goal, couldn't make the most of it. McGrath had 26 for Essendon, fought hard all game down back. Durham 22 was arguably their best, brilliant early with 7 inside 50s and 6 score involvements for the game. And Roberts really shone across half-back as the game wore on for the Bombers, 21 disposals. Newen was their debutant. He had 5 possessions, but he made sure that Tom Papley only had 13 for the game and just the 1 goal. What an assignment on debut to be put on the Swans' danger man, who's kicked now 299 goals in his AFL career. What did you make of the way in which he performed, Jason Saddington?
Oh, it's a pretty solid debut. He looks like he competes really hard, and he's got some athleticism, some hops, so he'll play some games of footy, Newen. And I mean, that's a great way to introduce him to AFL football, is throw him on Tom Papley and say, have a crack at that. And he can hold his head high. Great debut from him. As says Batoli, he was lively up forward for the Swans, so they both did really well in their first games of footy. But I mean, Brodie Grundy, 39 touches.
That's career best, by the way, by a long way. Wow. So his previous best I can find is like 31 or low 30s.
And how many hit-outs too?
32, 22 contested bit. But I mean, the last time we saw Ruckman getting those sorts of numbers, it was probably his coach, wasn't it, Dean Cox?
Probably.
He was probably the last Ruckman that racked and stacked like that. That's huge from a ruck, 39 touches.
Let's head into the winners' rooms. Phil Pryor waiting for the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, here they come, guys, just coming into the rooms now, so the noise, it is about to ramp up. There's a big crowd waiting over to the side as well. Plenty of the Goulden clan, I'd imagine, in game number 100. And here comes the last of the side as well. Some of these players looking particularly muddy given the conditions out there. Detoli already has Powerade up and down him after his debut match today. And here they go.
There you go. So some reaction, hopefully, from the winners' rooms very shortly. We're on air for another 6 minutes here on ABC Sport. The Swans winners by 14 points over Essendon from 20,805 in the Pride game. Next week, Swans away to Brisbane at the Gabba. That's Saturday, the twilight game. Bombers are away to Geelong Community Park on Friday night. So we'll get... Can we get... Oh, by the way, earlier, Melbourne beat West Coast by 83 points at Docklands. Gold Coast beat Richmond by 84 points at Carrara. Big game coming up tonight, Collingwood Brisbane at the MCG. Of course, you can hear that available on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC AFL button. Who's doing our votes, by the way, in case we have to squeeze these in pretty quickly? Ryan O'Keefe, who are your 3 best?
I'll give it to you now. I'm giving 1 vote for the 100-gamer Errol Goulden, 2 votes Nick Blakey, and 3 votes Brodie Grundy.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's
none for
gone the same. That's perfect, Pebbles.
There we go.
What would you say? 1 Goulden?
1 Goulden, 2 Blakey, 3 Grundy. All-Australian ruckman.
It's extraordinary. 39 disposals, a career best for Brodie Grundy, who we spoke to a fortnight ago after they smashed the record for hit-out differential. I think I'll have a quick meeting here, the Swans. We might have to just hold off on that interview for the time being. We'll hopefully bring it to you before we are off air in 5.5 minutes' time, Garby. 10 wins and 10 losses now for the Sydney Swans, away to Brisbane next week.
So while they're having their meeting, Jason Saddington, Ryan O'Keefe, let's take stock of Errol Goulden, 100 games. So a couple of All-Australians, club champion, 2 top 7 Brownlow finishes, 3 Brett Kirk medals. We're talking hypotheticals to an extent, but when all is said and done, another 100 or 200 games on from here, where do you think Errol Goulden might sit in the pantheon of Sydney Swans greats?
Oh, look, it's obviously he's a top player and he's going to be up there. It's hard to compare. He's quite a unique player. I don't think Sydney's had a player like him probably go through. Like, he's very different to you look at some of the Hall of Famer champions, because just the way he's almost like that traditional winger, you know what I mean? It runs up and down and just accumulates and everything like that. So he's quite an interesting player compared to, say, the other greats of the Swans. But yeah, there's no surprise he's such a good player, because what you hear and all the word that I keep getting and everything I hear about him is he's meticulous, he works hard, he does everything. There's no surprise. Like, he's missed a lot of footy this year, slots straight back in, it's like he hasn't missed any at all. And that's what good players do, not just because they're talented, because they're dedicated off the field. They do everything right. If they can't play, they're training at a super high level, so when they come back to playing, they haven't missed a beat. And if he continues the way that vein, and I'm sure that's just the character he is, yeah, he's going to be right up there.
He'll be captain of the club. He'll play over 300 games. All things going well without injury, he could play 354. Because he is the ultimate professional. He looks after himself and he doesn't miss a beat. First 100's pretty impressive, isn't it? You can't see it getting any worse. It's probably, if anything, it's going to get better. So I think when all's said and done, in another 10, 15 years' time, because I think he'll go for a long time, he will be up there with one of the best.
What was Essendon's biggest issue as far as just taking it back to those last few moments? What made it so hard for them in those last few minutes to get the ball forward and get those couple of goals they needed?
Well, it's like they conceded and they just parked everyone in their defence. So when they did win it, like that, the Swans half-backs, the Blakey and Rampy and McCart, they're just going, how good's this? I've got no one to play on. And they had to go fast and they were surging it, McGrath, and they were just bombing along. And they're just kicking it straight down the Swans. So you can't score if you haven't got players ahead of the ball. And if you're just going to concede, and from the very first bounce of the game, they park someone behind the ball. And it's just like, well, do you want to win this game, or are you just here just trying to save a bit of face? Like, they didn't come for the contest, and I don't think they gave themselves an opportunity really to be winning this game.
The Swans have now won 7 of their past 9 against Essendon and 11 of 12 at the SCG. The only exception there was was round 2 2020, which was the first week of COVID footy when Essendon won a game here. But that's their record at the SCG most recently. Of course, a 14th debutant today in the form of Jade Newen, who gave a good account of himself, but ultimately it's a 9th straight loss for Brad Scott's men, now 10 of their past at 11 in this 2025 campaign.
Some of their youngsters, they show bits, though, don't they?
Yeah, they've got talent.
They've got some talent there. I would say the one thing from today, the most disappointing part is when you do have so many young players out there, is your leaders and how they stand up and how they perform. And they were probably down. Dylan Shield we spoke about.
Yeah,
it was very quiet. Zach Merritt had a quieter game. Goldstein, struggled in the ruck. You need those players to probably stand up and help the young players come through.
Swans by 14 here. Ryan O'Keefe gave 3 votes. Brodie Grundy and his career best 39 disposals. 2 votes to Nick Blakey and 1 to Errol Goulden, the ABC Player of the Year. Earlier, I mentioned those earlier scores. Melbourne smashed West Coast. Gold Coast smashed Richmond. Will Day is out for the season for Hawthorn with his bone stress issues with his foot. Who wins tonight? Collingwood, Brisbane. Jason Saddington, Ryan O'Keefe.
Oh, it's hard to go past the Pies down there, but it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, Brisbane haven't been convincing the past few weeks, I don't think. So down there, they kind of lift, though, I reckon, against Collingwood at the G. So Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions. Step back up.
Beautifully set up here after what was, well, we had the close game here so far today. Hopefully it's a belter at the G later on tonight. Of course, the British and Irish Lions available for you as well on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC Sport Extra button. Thank you, Sato. Thank you, Pebs.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, Garby.
Thanks, Briggy.
Thanks to Phil Pryor. We'll get some reaction from the Swans rooms and bring it to you later on in the AFL Network program. Thanks to Tegan Nichols, our tech, and to Akash Fadada back in the studio. Thank you, most importantly, for your company across this Saturday twilight game. The Swans by 14 points over Essendon here at the SCG.